gone by. Put yesterday's aside, made the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. Days aside, made the future head on. Stop staying within the lines. 2, we always align. 3, even if we don't get it upper hand, we'll fight for right. 4, never care or for hindsight. 5, let us light the night. 6, even when there are wills within, we'll go ahead. Get it pulverized.
Wrapped in biting wind, hearts will never bleed. Frozen and vanished out of greed. In their restless dreams, they try so hard to breathe. Pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness. They will come with the blade. They will wake up the despond and crown in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. The only warmth remains in hands clasped so tight. The only fire exists in brave hearts. Seasons that refuse to change over the years will find their way back on track. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. We have no way to know where they are headed for. See them lights on fire, just blaze through the storm. We know it's right over there. Something is there. Whatever is arriving, we'll be prepared. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. They will come with the blade. They will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up to hear the cheering sound. The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. The day to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. Oh, we will see. Come with me, take the journey. We will see. Come with me, take the journey.
Get rid of the press from the rusty time, those years. Don't stay in a daze looking for a sign. Start and try. Run across fields of ice, but hidden in starlight. Be well aware of roads we've gone by. Put yesterday's aside, meet the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. One, stop staying within the lines. Two, we always align. Three, even if we don't get the upper hand, we'll fight for right. Four, never care a rip for hindsight. Five, let us light the night. Six, even when there are wills within, we'll go ahead. Get it pulverized.
Wrapped in biting wind, hearts will never bleed. Frozen and banished out of greed. In their restless dreams, they try so hard to breathe. Pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. The only warmth remains in hands past so tight. The only fire exists in brave hearts. Seasons that refuse to change over the years will find their way back on track. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. The day to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. We will see. Come with me, take the journey. We will see. Come with me, take the journey.
Get rid of the press from the rusty time, those years. Don't stay in a daze looking for a sign. Start and try. Run across fields of ice, but hidden inside light. Be well aware of roads we've gone by. Put yesterday's aside, meet the future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. One, stop staying within the lines. Two, we always.
我们阻绝恶名，我们宣扬美誉，盲目、渴望、虔诚，咫尺星河，纯美无处不在。授勋骑士银之笑脸骑士，纯美永驻。
大家好，我是星际争霸2世界冠军李培南。作为职业选手，每天大部分时间都是在电脑前度过。每次训练结束都会有不同程度的腰酸背痛，所以我们对电竞椅的要求都非常严格，能保护腰部并且坐感舒适，成为我们挑电竞椅的重要指标。我们一直在用的奥风电竞椅就完美做到这一点。升级的锥背小弹腰有足够的支撑力，并且上下前后都能调节，坐着很舒服，非常适合大家玩游戏的时候使用。不论用什么姿势，正坐、靠着、躺着。腰托都可以支撑我的腰部，非常舒服。再来坐感，这款还配置了空调坐垫，夏天凉爽，冬天温暖，真的是跟空调一样精准控温。训练久了总觉得闷热，坐垫有3档风度调节，游戏再也不闷屁股了。现在天气转凉了，坐垫同样配置了3档加热功能，让身体一直保持温暖，游戏手感一直火热。训练之余刷刷手机休息一下，玩玩手游。6D 机械手臂可以自调节高度，手臂不会感觉累，同时扶手面很大，即使有大动作也不会落空。相信我，跟我一起选择奥风机械大师电竞椅，你也可以逆袭成为冠军。
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”， 这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week, another final broadcast of WTL World Team League Winter 2023. The round robin group stage is coming to an end. Round 11 is the final round of the group stage. We are here with Team Basilisk versus the Kwangdong Freaks. Oh my god, and we're in for a spicy one here. We're in for an interesting matchup. A ZVP between Rainer and... oh my god, what happened? Rainer has been through a lot of stress recently. He had a really intense weekend at DreamHack Atlanta. And where did his hair go? Did I miss that? Did he bleach his hair for Atlanta? Am I crazy? No shot. I swear I was watching Atlanta. Did he have regular hair then? Aye. Regardless. Regardless, we're getting into this, and predictions in the chat are open. They're open for you to place your bets on how you think this first matchup will go. It's going to be a best of 2 between Rainer and Stats, a ZVP here for the ages. Again, Stats, a returning military player from the start of the year. He has been improving over time. Fun fact, Stats has qualified for IM Katowice next year in a couple of months. He is going to be there. He's going to be a part of that event. And the question becomes, how in form is he, and can he keep up with the best of the best? Can he keep up? That is the question, as we're going to be loading into game 1 on Hecate. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Rainer for Team Basilisk. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have Stats for the Kwangdong Freaks. Catching up in chat. But yeah, am I crazy? Did Rainer recently bleach his hair? His hair totally wasn't bleached for Atlanta, right? Did I miss that? Am I crazy? Am I I mean, to be fair, I didn't watch much of like the like areas between the games, but yeah, I could have sworn that he had hair. Regardless, we're getting into this. And so far, Rainer going for a standard opener, forced to take the unnatural natural here. Big shout out to the sponsors for World Team League, the Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Autofull. Autofull is that share company, by the way, for the high-tech, like, microwavable, financial chair that Oliveira uses. It's crazy. It's we've been getting a new ad this season with Oliveira rocking that chair and giving them a shout out, and yeah, it's really cool stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate that they reached out and they made an ad with Oliveira specifically. That's I love it. Regardless, we're getting into this ZVP, and so far we have Stats being a bit of an annoyance here. Again, just forcing the unnatural standard opener overall out of Rainer. Likewise, standard opener out of Stats. Very briefly as well, big shout out to the sponsors. Without them, this event wouldn't be possible. Also, it was recently announced, I believe... oh my god. I believe 24 hours ago, it was announced Masters Coliseum. Masters Coliseum, the qualifiers are next month in January. And we got a lot to go over. We got a lot to cast, we got a lot to cover. It's yeah. Oh, not even it's like next week, right? Hold on. Yeah, my apologies. Next week is going to be the qualifiers of Masters Coliseum. So again, without these sponsors, wouldn't have Kung Fu Cup, WTL, or Masters Coliseum, and no rest for the weekend. I was looking forward to a break next week. I was looking forward to more than a day off. But no, we quickly filled our schedule full of Masters Coliseum qualifiers. So it continues. It does continue. The StarCraft. Regardless, we're easing ourselves into this, and it's going to be a Stargate opener out of Stats, as to be expected, a standard opener. Stats, he has been a little bit frisky in PvP as of late, but when it comes to ZVP, very standard. He's very standard here in this matchup. I'd be very surprised to see him go for something like Glaive Eps off of the back of this, so I'm expecting Stargate into a third base, into +1 Blink, maybe +1 Charge, actually. He has been going for that as well, just for a more defensive, tech-heavy style, especially on a big map like Hecate. It would make a lot of sense. It would make sense, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of direction we do take us in. For now, you know, the Oracle is going to be on the wake. It's going to be zooming across the map, looking for some economic damage and looking to contain Raynor here on his 3 bases while he's able to expand behind it. Unlike players like Classic and Nightmare and Hero, Stats has opted not to go for the Void Ray first. He's going for the Oracle instead. So again, just sticking to his guns here, sticking to a more standard play. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have Lings moving out across the map. The goal of these Lings is to delay the 3rd base if possible. Again, the 3rd should soon be taken, and Raynor will be there to slow it down. Ooh, the 3rd is being taken, but we're taking the linear 3rd, not the triangular 3rd. So a little bit of unfortunate positioning for Raynor. He happens to be at the wrong 3rd base, but he should soon be checking. There you go. You can see on the minimap that the Lings are rolling on over. At the same time, the Oracles, they get into that natural base. They deny one of those tumors, force a cancel on an egg, but that's all they managed to get done. Meanwhile, the Lings did just check the positioning of the 3rd. They saw the Adepts likewise with some good SimCity, and the Lings did back off. So Raynor, he's aware of the 3-base play. He's aware it's not a 2-base all-in. 2nd Oracle has arrived. 2 Oracles do one-shot workers, and we do force back that 2nd Oracle for the time being. But still, we have plenty of energy, plenty of HP, plenty of shields to work with, and a 3rd Oracle's on the way. We do catch a couple of drones. Oh no! But a big overextension as Stats comes in from behind, and he shuts down that Oracle. Ay, ay, ay. Again, a good movement here from Raynor overall, just shutting down the Oracle. The first one, at least. There are still 2 left, but killing 1 Oracle this early on is already a big move. Did lose a couple of drones, but well worth it for Raynor. See, chat. Raynor got that old in Atlanta. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, like, Atlanta it was a stressful tournament, but it was stressful. And Raynor, you know, he's been through a lifetime of stress due to StarCraft at this point. Atlanta, it was a hectic time, and you know, hopefully he can regain his youth in time for Katowice in a couple of months. I like to think that Raynor, his power comes from his hair, and he expended all of his power, and now he's empty. Like he's been drained by it, but I'm sure he'll fill out. He'll fill out over the next month, I'm sure. Copium. This is, you know what this is? This is me coping about Geralt with his mustache. It's like, guys, it's okay. He's shaved. He can regrow it in like a week. It's fine. And it's been like a year, and he's been unable to regrow his mustache. It's gone. It's once he's shaved, like he was just never able to grow it again. It's like, oh, never mind. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But I'm curious. Quickly, just very quickly, referring to the hair as we get back into the game. I'm curious if Raynor, if he bleached his hair for now, and he intends to color it, because usually you bleach your hair and then you go blue or red or something. You have to bleach it first, right, to get a more vibrant color. I'm curious if that's the plan, or if he's just going white, or intentionally. So he's just going white like this, and that's just it. Or if he intends to go one step further, go further beyond, you know, go Super Saiyan for I Am Katowice. I'm here for it. Regardless, for now, we do have our +1 blink, as we mentioned before. So a standard follow-up here from Stats. As we saw as well, no gateway explosion. There were 4 gateways over towards the left-hand side at the 3rd base location, but only to wall off. We spoke about it before. This is a very kind of tech-heavy style. We're getting into Immortal production, Storm as well. Stats, he's turtling up on 4 bases, and I love what Raynor is doing. He has recognized how defensive Stats is being, and bam, Infestation Pit. Hive is on the way. Hydra Den as well. Sorry, not the Hydra Den. Spire as well. So we're just taking advantage of how passive Stats is being. Again, Stats playing a very turtle-heavy style. Oh my god, he's already rushing into Sky Toss. Jesus. But again, Stats is being so turtle, so tech-heavy that Raynor can drone up freely, drone up to 80. You can see, he's up to 87 workers. And there's no way to stop him. Stats has chosen not to be aggressive, not to harass. As a result, Raynor is kind of getting a bit out of control. He's taking advantage of Stats, essentially. So again, a really good read here from Raynor overall. A very nice read, as we're going to be able to just max out here, essentially. We're going to be still working on Roches and Lings. The Spire has, of course, the ability to bring us into mutant play, if need be. That's going to be on the table here for Raynor. We have the 2nd Stargate Fleet Beacon on the way for Stats again. His goal is to turtle up to Sky Toss. It's an ambitious goal, Hecate does lend to it a little bit. It's a very defensive map, a lot of bases, but here we go. Raynor still maxing out. Big contamination on that Robo. We do delay the Immortal. We do delay the production overall. The scouting is upon us. We have confirmed the Sky Toss. And there it is. Greater Spire is on the way. Greater Spire is going to be already on the way. And Stats, he's looking to try to break this 4th base. Now, he needs to trade. Stats, what? Raynor has to break the 4th base. He needs to trade just because he has roaches, and this is like inflated supply. Raynor, he's going to have to make room for eventually Corruptors to deal with those carriers. Corruptors and Broodlords. Until then, though, he's still committed to a ground army. He's going to be threatening a dive towards the 3rd base. Gateway is going to be knocked down. The Bailey's going to be rolling in. And Stats, he's out of position. He was not expecting an attack here at his 3rd base. He gets caught out for the Baileys. They roll in. They take down the shield batteries. We take down the pilots as well. We don't really get too many of the workers, though, so a solid defense out of Stats does minimize his losses. But from here, Raynor backs up, and then bam, 9 Corruptors. Immediately, we just back up. 9 Corruptors are on the way. We are going to just be building up that anti-Skytos army. Only 1 Spire. We don't have a 2nd Spire for double upgrades, so upgrades are a little bit lacking. Right now, we're just hyper-fixated on building up our forces. Bailey's rolling in for a 2nd time. Oh, go. Reaction! No reaction here from Stats. He takes the Baileys to the face. A lot of his game units go down. The carriers have since been revealed on the right-hand side, which means we know to commit a little bit harder. Ooh, we made 9 Corruptors. 6 of them are being morphed into Broodlords. Oh, bold move. Which means we have that much limited anti-air. We should be throwing away some more of these roaches, though, and making room for more Corruptors. As Raynor is droning up a little bit further here, building up his Spore Forest. The spores, the spine crawlers, all about the stack defense. Also, Raynor, he is keeping up with creep spread. His creep is completely engulfing the map right now, just taking control of the left and the right-hand side. So again, Stats, he's stuck on 4 bases, and basically, Raynor has to chill, refine his army, and his win condition never allows Stats to take a 5th. Just contain him to 4 bases perpetually, and never allow him to expand. That's going to be, again, the end game here for Raynor. We have Vipers on the way, +1 air carapace. We have the Ultra Cavern as well. Stalkers are dipping in. Raynor a bit out of position, but there we go. The Broodlords have arrived. Broodlords will force back the Stalkers. Again, only 4 carriers so far. Broodlords getting a little bit feisty. Okay, calm down, Poppy, calm down. You can see the Stats. He wants to take a 5th base. That's not going to happen. Not anytime soon. Not without a fight. Go transfuse out of Raynor, keeping his queens alive. Very nice control here from our Zerg. Does pull back, does shut down so many of these Stalkers. And just punishing the aggressive blink here of Stats. At the same time, Zealot counterattack. Ooh, we are lacking we're lacking spine crawlers. It's gonna be a good trade here for Stats. Meanwhile, as I'm leading out more Lings and Roaches, bam, 10 more Corruptors on the way. We dive on top of the Broodlords. We're in the transfuse. We get 1, we get 2. We get up 3 Broodlords just barely. Can we get a 4th Broodlord? And we are running out of Broodlords. Stats, he's breaking through. 2 Broodlords remaining. The Queens are trying to hold on. They take down a High Templar. Another big storm takes down 1 more Broodlord. We're down to 1 remaining. Decent trade from Stats, but Raynor has the economy. He has the bank, and Raynor is remaxing with Ultras and Corruptors. And now we're going for the carriers. We're diving in. Yeah, we're going to shut this down. The 1st carrier, the 2nd carrier goes down. Can we get a 3rd? Yeah, totally. We can totally get a 3rd as well. Storm is going to zone back the Corruptors. We hold on to the carriers a little bit longer. The Miles. Ooh. Yeah, Stats. He's trying to break through, trying to once again gain a little bit of momentum here, but the Lings and Ultras have arrived. The ground army cannot do anything here. We have an Eastern Storm, but it's not going to be enough. And Raynor is snowballing out of control again. He played this out so well. The overcharge is going to be keeping these carriers alive. On the Miles. They strip away the shields here on the carriers. Looks like the Ultras are running out of steam a little bit. It looks like Statsy may be able to hold on to his fourth. That is 17, 18 dead probes, as well as the dead fifth base. We mentioned the win condition here for Raynor, deny the fifth. Over and over again, just deny the fifth base. That's all we have to do as we take control of the rest of the map. And again, there's only 3 carriers remaining. There's a handful of High Templar, a handful of Archons. The Archons are not done. Overcharged on cooldown, which means we can finally shut down these carriers. 3 of them survived earlier, but now we can get on top of all of them. There we go. 2 of them go down. 1 is left. GG gets called, and Raynor will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played here. As Raynor will take the first game, looking strong, looking powerful. Again, winding it back to game number 1. Stats, it isn't a bad style to be defensive like that, but typically you want to try to fake out your opponent. Even if you're being very tech heavy, we see players, very quickly getting into this, we see players like Hero, we see players like Classic. Essentially, when you open up triple Oracle into plus something Stalkers, even if you plan on being defensive and taking a fourth and just turtling up, you still want to be active with your Oracles and Stalkers, with your blink timing and with your Oracles to support them, just so you can apply some pressure and force out units, force out Lings, force out Roaches, trade as well, to try to slow down and cripple the economy. Showtime is really good at this. Showtime, even though, okay, so Showtime has a reputation, right, of like being dim out, right, the wall, where he just like, he's very defensive overall, especially in PvZ, which is true. But in saying that, he's very good at harassing with his Oracles and very good with harassing with his Adepts early on. Even though he's like really working on, you know, the late game and he isn't really investing too much into his army, with what little he has, he still achieves a lot. And he actually gets a lot of economic damage done, and he slows down the Zerg. And it's very important to pull that off if you're playing this style. Otherwise, you give the Zerg so much freedom. So much freedom. And that's what we saw here, where Raynor, he was so free. He droned up to 87 without losing, with only losing 2 drones. He lost 2 workers, and he droned up to 87, got up to 6 bases, got up to Hive Tech. Like, Raynor had so much freedom, and yeah, he just took advantage of stats in the end. But that was game 1. It's game number 1, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Raynor for Team Basilisk. And spawning in the bottom left, we have his opponent. We have Stats from the Quangdong Creeks. Here we go. Yeah, unfortunately, again, this style from Stats, without being hyper efficient or being or focusing on any kind of aggression or harassment, it is very difficult to pull off against a player of the caliber of Raynor. Players like Raynor, Serral, Dark, Solar, once they recognize that you are being passive, they just take full advantage of you as quickly as possible. They're so good at identifying that, and so good at, again, taking advantage of that as well. But for now, I'm going to be getting into game number 2, and I imagine Stats is going to be taking a bit of a different approach. At least I hope so. At least I hope so. Wait. Catching up with the chat. Raynor has the tail fin hair dye. What is that? Tail? Do I want to know what that is? Oh. I'm afraid to Google. I'm afraid. Like, if Silas typing something in the chat, then I'm tentative to look into it. For now, though, Raynor is going for a hatch gas pool opener. Standard stuff once again. For the second time, he's forced to take the unnatural natural. Really awkward location, especially here on Solaris, taking the forward base. Now, this could lead into a couple of different directions. Because Raynor did take the forward base, he could actually be quite aggressive. We have seen some Queen Walks. We have seen some Queen Walks here on Solaris because of the speed zones as well. So it just adds that much more pizzazz, that much more firepower, and that much more just intensity to your push if we do end up cutting workers and going for a Roach Queen all in. That is going to be something to take into consideration if Raynor does use that base as a bit of a launch pad to spread creep across the map. Meanwhile, because of the base layout, Stats could try to be aggressive after this. It's a Stargate opener for now. True, it is a Stargate, yes, to get into a third, but we could throw down a Twilight Council behind this without a Forge, which would lead into Glaive Adepts. You can go for delayed Glaive Adepts, and you can try to pull Raynor apart. In Glaives, they've made a bit of a resurgence in recent times. A lot of the players, especially the Korean Protosses and even Max Packs as well, they've been very fond of going for Glaives and at these really like offbeat timings and offbeat kind of moments and pulling apart the Zerg player. It can be quite effective. It can be quite effective, but we'll see if Stats is willing to embrace that. For now, oh, hello. Stats did go Stargate first. That is not an Oracle. That is a Phoenix. Let's go. Okay, so we're going for a Phoenix first. With this Phoenix, we're going to be shutting down the Overlords. We're going to be keeping Raynor in the dark. So if Stats did want to go for something like a Twilight Council without a Forge, if you wanted to go for Glaive Adepts, this would be a good way to do it. Again, just taking away that scouting information from Raynor. We do have a second Oracle, or I should say, our second unit after this is going to be the Oracle. Into a third base. Everything is looking normal for now. At the same time, Lings, they go for a bit of a counterattack. This time they choose correctly. This time they find the would-be third base. And, ooh, Stats is going to be a little bit delayed. He's going to be forced to activate that Pulsar Beam. Or just to keep that Oracle at home. Meanwhile, we are looking for more Overlords. We do find another, but Queens are here to keep it safe. They will be able to. We have a second Oracle in production as well. And I'm still waiting for our tech of choice here. As a reminder, whatever the tech happens to be, Raynor is going to have a hard time finding it out. Whether it's a Twilight Council, whether it's a Robo, whether it's a second Stargate and a Fleet Beacon, it is going to be hidden. But now, though, we have yet to really decide here. Phoenix getting across the map, still just getting some scouting information. Adepts are going to be threatening a shade into the natural. Hopefully we don't commit. Plenty of Lings are in position, and we have our answer. It is going to be a Twilight Council alongside a Forge. This looks like +1 in Blink. This could also be +1 in Charge, which I wouldn't be opposed to. See what direction we go in. Adepts, they do shade in. They do focus on a couple of drones. 2 workers go down. Up. Will we commit here as well? We get another couple of workers. Not too bad. 4 drones in total. Double Oracle dives in, but ooh. Queens are in position. We get 6 worker kills for 4 Adepts. Not bad, but also not amazing. Ideally, would have liked to have traded a little bit better. At least the Oracles are still alive, so potentially they can also get some more worker kills. Meanwhile, behind this, it is going to be Blink, not Charge. So +1 and Blink is on the way for Stats. He's going for a much stronger... Oh my god, that is going to be 6 gates. 6 gateways on the way, plus the 2 that he already has. This is looking like a 3-base all-in. Yeah, the Prism's on the way. Stats 8 gateways in total, 3 bases, no gases at the 3rd either. We're just doubling down on pure Blink Stalkers. Again, you don't make this many gateways unless you have a reason to. And we are looking to. We're looking to make use of them. Oh, Phoenix does go down across the map. Bit of an overextension there from Stats. And there it is. We have 3 more pylons on the way. Why are we making so many pylons? Because we need to warp in. Because we're going to be doing nothing but warp in. So I'm loving that Stats is being more aggressive here. He has hidden his build for the most part, and Raynor is being a little bit tech heavy. He's going to be investing into an infestation pit, which is not going to be helping. But he has Lings, he has Roaches. He only joined up to 69. Nice. Not too much. And now we're pushing in. Here we go. We can warp in 8 Stalkers at a time. And we are hitting just in time, just at the moment the +1 Blink finishes. Here we go, we're pushing towards that 3rd. We have the Oracles to support, Overlord's going to be going down. Not too many Roaches to defend. Uh-oh. Lings are getting shaved off here. Sage traps, they get baited out. And here we go, Raynor, he goes for the dive. He's shutting down some of these Stalkers. But there are still so many behind this. Again, remember, you can warp in 8 Stalkers at a time. And we're not stopping. We're not slowing down. We're trying to break this defensive line, getting on top of the Roaches and the Queens. And Raynor, has he been a little bit too greedy? Lings are trying to come on forward here. They're amassing behind the army for a surround. So far, the blinks are looking good here from Stats. Ooh, he does take a blow to the face. Again, we're running out of Lings. Raynor just doesn't have too much to work with. Oh, it's looking very close. Yeah, we're trickling in Lings. We got another big warping of Stalkers as well. Get him involved. Stalkers are pushing forward. The Lings on the left-hand side, they're being cleaned up as well. We're getting on some of the Roaches. And it looks like Stats, has he done it? He's trying to get on top of the Ravagers, trying to get on top of the Queens. But he barely doesn't have enough. He's waiting for another wave of reinforcements. Oh, the Queens. Queens are going down. Zealots have arrived as well. Ooh, some of the battles do connect. It feels like Stats, he was so close. He was so close to breaking him, but the units are getting too low. These Stalkers are getting far too low at this point. Files are connecting. Oracles, they're now diving on top of the army as well. But it does look like Stats, he's running out of steam. I mean, it's still a very close fight, but Raynor's economy has been left untouched, and Stats barely doesn't break through. Here come another wave of reinforcements, though. With these Zealots, once again, the Queens have been reset. We're down to 1 Queen. Good target firing on the Ravager. Oh my god. Good target firing on the Ravager. We get another warp in. Is this going to be enough? Likewise, Raynor, he's been bleeding out a lot of high-tech units. Has been bleeding out some units here. Queens, they're running on forward. They are reinforcing. We take down one of the Queens. Again, as a reminder, this is all in at a Stats. This has been all in the entire time. With his AK, with the Vials, they take down so much of the HP from that Prism. The Prism does survive, but you can see here that Stats, yeah, he's losing too much. At this point, he has lost far too much, taken too many balls to the face. He had a good attack. It looked like Raynor was caught out for a moment there. We almost broke our Zerg player, but it just barely wasn't enough. Raynor, he shuts this down, and Stats has nothing else behind this. No +2, no Robotics Bay, no second Robo, no nothing, no charge, no Temple Archives. We're stuck on +1 Blink Stalkers. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Raynor. Yeah, we do see Stats forced to engage here in the center of the map, but things are snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and Raynor will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. How did light catch a cold? You weren't in Atlanta, right? I know. I was cleaning today. and I think, I don't know, maybe the dust got to me. It is summer. Maybe a bit of the weather hitting me. But regardless, GG, well played. Raynor will take the series 2-0. A strong lead here for Team Bastards, but a big shout out to Stats again. Did whip out 2 different styles and wasn't looking too bad. Wasn't looking too bad in them, especially game 2. I do feel like we needed just a little bit more, whether it was just a little bit crisper micro and control, and maybe Stats could have pulled it off here. Maybe he could have caused the upset, but in the end, Raynor does take it 2-0. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are going to be getting ready for our next matchup. It's going to be a ZVZ between Serral and Sue. Up next, going to be going on a short break. Going to quickly get those predictions ready, and we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes for Serral versus Sue. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second matchup here of this Team League match of Team Basilisk versus the Kwangdong Freaks. We just wrapped up with Rainer versus Stats, and now we have returned with Cyril versus Sue in a ZVZ. There's his trophy. Sue, of course, is an IEM Katowice champion, and his trophy is there behind him. But here we go. We're diving into this in the top right-hand corner for Team Basilisk. It is Cyril. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent for the Kwangdong Freaks, Sue. His trophy. Oh my god, I feel like a lot of people forget about that, but you know, one of the big memes of Sue was sure he was a Kong for a while, which does refer to him being second place over and over and over again. So many GSL second places, but it all ended, it all did end, of course, with him claiming that big final win at the end, becoming an IEM Katowice champion. It's a big moment for him. Meanwhile, before I forget, predictions in the chat, they are open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold. A 2-0 in either direction or a 1-1 score. Happy predictions. There we go. Place your bets. When it comes to getting into this series, when it comes to getting into this matchup right now, as you do see, Cyril going for a pool first. Interesting. Okay, so Sue goes for a hatch gas pool, standard opener out of our red Zerg player. Cyril going for a very safe opener instead, going for a pool first. Now, pool first may sound aggressive, but no, it's very safe. There's no early gases or anything like that. There's nothing you can really do with early lings other than be defensive. And I've spoken about this before. I think it was even last, it was during, I think, Hope Story Cup when we were casting Cyril. I was talking about how very often if Cyril goes up against a player that he believes he is, like, stronger than, if there's a bit of a gap between the players, Cyril, he is more than willing to open up safe instead of, like, economic. He's willing to put himself behind in a way just to make sure he's safe and secure. And with this, he does crank out 6 lings. Yes, there is potential for these 6 lings to deal damage, but as you can see behind this, Cyril skips his gases, going for a 3rd base instead. He should be going 2 base roach, essentially. He should be skipping ling speed and going straight into roach production from here, as lings are moving out. Ling's going to be applying some pressure. They're going to be getting some scouting information as well, just to get a read on what exactly is going on. Sue back at home, getting ready as well with his queens, with his lings. We'll see if Cyril can get us around. We'll see if Cyril can get some drone kills. Up! He's going to be threatening that mineral line. He's going to be threatening those drones as well. It looks like he will maybe get one. It's so close. Can he get one? He does, I think. He does. He does get 1 drone. That is already a good pickup. There it is. 1 drone, 2 lings as well. From here, we shouldn't get too much more done, but where are the extra lings from Sue? He was cutting a little bit too many corners, only making a handful of lings, and with that, he's getting punished for it. Only made 2 lings. We do deal with this, and behind this again, Cyril has been droning. We mentioned this before. Again, Cyril just going for a safety pool first into a massive amount of droning as well. With this, he should eventually take his gases when he's saturated on 2 bases. This is a very greedy kind of follow-up here from Cyril. What I mean by that is that because Cyril's gases are so late, no Ling speed and no Bailey Nest either, if Sue were to be aggressive with Ling Bane, Cyril would have a hard time defending, as he would have to very quickly just get his wall up and running and try to survive with pure slow Lings and Queens. Meanwhile, Sue, he is not going for the Bailey Nest. He's skipping it. He's going straight into a lair. Okay, so because Sue got his gas at a regular time, he can go for a faster lair. Because Cyril went gasless, no lair in sight. Not yet. No tech in sight yet for Cyril, as he's just now investing into his gases. Now, Sue, with this fast lair, can go into a couple of different directions. This could just be Roach Ravager. This could just be straight up Roach Ravager. This could also be something crazy like fast Mutas. We are taking additional gases. We're on 3 gases at the moment, not 4. This could still be Roach production, but the longer this goes on for Sue without a Roach Warren, the more likely this is to be Mutas. And there it is. 4 gases have been taken. No Roach Warren yet. I'm filling a Spire. Now, the problem with the Spire here is that it's very obvious on Radisson Station. It's a very obvious thing to do. We'll see if Cyril can get a read on it. Sue does check the 3rd base location, just confirm. Does confirm that it has been taken. Lair has finished up. Su has the money for it, and there it is. There is the Spire that we were talking about. Again, makes sense just because there was no Roach Warren and because of the fast gases that were prioritized as well. Now, Su, he dips in. He does get eyes on the Lair. He doesn't see the Spire, but he sees the gases. So it's a very big possibility that this could be Spire and Muta play. Cyril doesn't have confirmation, but I'm sure it's something in the back of his mind, as he himself is taking all 6 gases. Oh my god. I mean, so is Su, to be fair, as he's just now working on his 5th gas. Meanwhile, Cyril with the faster, Roach Warren is investing in a +1 Overlord speed and road speed. With that Overlord speed timing and with that Overseer in production, Cyril is going to get a full scout. He's going to get confirmation of what exactly is going on. And there it is, the Overseer is going into the main for both players. Su comes in, he's going to get confirmation that there is no Spire. Cyril's going in, looking for confirmation that there is a Spire. Yep, there we go, he does get eyes on it, he does confirm. So immediately Cyril is aware of what's going on, and he has a choice to make. He can either try to break his opponent now with a Roach push, or he can tech. And there it is, Infestation Bit is on the way. Cyril is working towards Hive Tech. I mean, I say Hive Tech. This could be for a stopgap to go into Infestors for fungal growths, but that should eventually lead into Hive Tech and Vipers. As the Overseer comes back in. I love this from Cyril, by the way. Cyril, he makes sure that the Spire wasn't cancelled. Because when he saw it, the Spire was still in production, he confirms Spire hasn't been cancelled. He also confirms that +1 air attack is on the way. So he's aware that it's going to be a commitment into Mutas. So big scout out of Cyril. Meanwhile, behind this, Su still just working on a 4th base. It's going to be Ling Bane Muta, which is not a bad composition. The Mutas, they're now hitting the field, they get across the map, but there are so many queens in position. 3 Infestors are on the way for safety for those fungal growths. Again, they will each have 1 fungal. And already, Hive on the way. Hydroden. Cyril, he's taking up into Hydrolurk and Viper. Cyril is working towards a superior army composition in the late game. Like, Hydrolurk and Viper is what you want. Mutas are more mid-game oriented. And this is going to suddenly put a lot of pressure and the timer on Su. Like, Su, he needs to snowball with this. He needs to get into a mineral line, kill workers, and cripple the economy, and not allow Cyril to max out. And he's sharking around looking for potentially an Infestor. Or any stray drone, any queen. We're still doubling down on Muta production. Again, Su isn't taking in any other direction here. He gets a bit of damage done on these Evo chambers. The gas geysers as well. Behind this is that Lunker done on the way. As we mentioned before, again, Cyril is working towards Hydrolurk and Viper. That's like the late game composition, one of the most efficient compositions you can have in this matchup. Like Hydras alongside Vipers, they completely just shut down Muta play. Rocks are being knocked down, which is an interesting choice. We'll see if we can mine through those minerals. Vipers are on the way, and once the Vipers arrive, once they are full of energy, then Cyril can push. Before that happens, boys are being pulled. We're mining through those minerals. Bold move here out of Su. He's going to be mining through those minerals, going for a Bane bust, but there are roaches here to defend. Uh-oh. We're going for it. Same time, Muta's going to try and distract, but we get a big fungal. Only one, though. Su will be able to escape. Meanwhile, the drones are going to try to mine through those minerals, and can we get an update on those minerals? I would love to see. As it looks like we have not mined through, not been able to. Mutas once again threatening those upgrades. One of the fungals is baited out. Lurkers are now in production. Vipers have arrived. Vipers are full of energy. Now, the reason why we can push when we have Vipers is that there is no way for Su to engage. If Su ever engaged with his Mutas, Parabomb. We just Parabomb the Mutas and we force him back. Ling Bane's gonna be rolling in. Nice fungal here on some of the Banelings. On every, oh my god! Every Baneling gets fungled and every Baneling goes down. Barely any connections. Ay, ay, ay. The efficiency here from Cyril's army. Just shutting those Banelings down. At the same time, the drones, they do not mine through. They try to. But the roaches are in position. There's that power bomb that we spoke about. So far, good splits from Su. But once again, we just cannot engage. If we ever try to push forward, the power bombs will zone max Su as well. It's like pushing into disruptors or pushing into purification overs. It is so difficult. As the Vipers are going to be gathering up energy here in their bases. More Bailings getting ready for a counterattack. Again, Cyril, he's just been trading so efficiently. Here comes some more Bailings. Oh my god, the spines! The Lunkers, they get so many shots off the Bailings, they do not get close to a mineral line. One of them does, but one Bailing is not enough. And you can see Su plummeting in supply. And it's not like it's not like Cyril's been pushing. Like, Cyril hasn't been attacking, he's been defending. And this just goes to show how well he's been defending. As the Muses go in, they catch a queen, they catch it, they do eventually catch the queen. Took a couple of volleys, good transfuse out of Cyril. Muses are getting between the bases though. At the same time, Cyril, it looks like he has maybe had enough. Looks like Cyril wants to commit. Again, maybe Cyril's just waiting for 3-3. 3-3 is still on the way. We can see Su is transitioning into Ultras. We do have 6 Ultras in production. Ultras can be okay. The reality is that if you have enough lurkers, then the Ultras do nothing. The Ultras, they, just like the Ling Bane, they just melt. But that's only if the lurker count is high enough. And it's very possible that Cyril has been neglecting his lurkers. He has a couple of them, don't get me wrong, but I believe Cyril hasn't seen the Ultra transition. So these Ultras have potential. That's what I will say. They do have potential at the same time. Oh, catch a couple of Overlords. Really checking, we have a couple of Lunkers in production as well. Here we go. Both players are now maxed out. We can see Cyril just taking another base, just walling up here, just absorbing all these attacks. Tunneling Claw Roaches, looks like they have been spotted. I believe Su does get eyes on. Oh, never mind. I thought he was following the Roaches, but I think he was following the Overlord instead. Yeah, the Roaches, they go by unnoticed. Ay, ay, ay. And this is just Cyril refining his army. These Roaches are dead supply. Like, we don't want Roaches anymore. They could be very easily replaced with just pure Lurker, and that'd just be better. As Su is taking one of Cyril's bases. The Roaches have arrived. They're getting in position. We got a couple of Roaches here at the 5th. We have Roaches moving out towards the 4th. At the same time, Su does push with his army. He's not at home to defend, and he's maxed, which means there is no reinforcements back at home either. And we're just waiting for the moment. Basically, Cyril should be waiting for Su to reveal his army, and then when he does, bam! Then we just unburn. Then we can wreak havoc. And now the armies are going to be dancing with each other. Plenty of energy for Parabomb and Fungals. Both players just amassing their banks here. Again, Cyril, he's waiting for Su. Waiting to either catch him or for the push. Su transitioning into Hydro Lurker Viper. That's a Lurker den on the way for Su. But here we go, the Roaches, they have unburrowed, they have hit the field. Oh, and so many drones are going down. Oh my god. We get over a mineral line worth of drones. We force back the Roaches, the Ultras, sorry. And that means Cyril can move out. And what does he do? He takes down the gold base. The picture-in-picture gold base does fall for Su. The forward gold. And from here, do we keep pushing or does Cyril just take another defensive position? I mean, again, there's nothing forcing Cyril to attack. He can just take this slow and steady. I mean, he's been just trading better. It'd be crazy. There we go, the army is moving out. The Ultras have been revealed towards the south. Cyril's aware. Now, Su has been catching up in upgrades. He's still only got, like, +1 carapace, which is less than ideal. But here we go, the Ultras are pushing in. Ooh, they try to. But the field of lurkers do zone them back. Oh my god. Yeah, just too many lurkers to push into. That's still a lot of ultras. Honestly, with this many ultras, as long as we have detection, I think Su can break Serral. I think he can break this siege line. It's going to depend on the angle of attack, don't get me wrong, but I can see this happening. It is 16 ultras. Like that's a lot of ultras, Bobby. That's and here we go with commit. Oh god, we try to commit. Are we pulling back? Again, there's a lot. Maybe I should also emphasize it is 16 ultras, but they don't have +3. They have +1. Like they have +1 carapace. So the Vipers, the Vipers do get caught out. The Infestors as well. Big blunder there by Serral. We do get the Powerbomb Fungal combo at the same time the Ultras move out across the map. Su picking up some very resetting the Infestors as well. Really powerful moment here from Su. We can see Serral remaking 7 Vipers. That was a good moment, but we need more than that. We need more of that for Su. As he's remaxing once again. Now, remember, Su, he has a Lurker Den. He has a Greater Spire on the way. He should be transitioning out of Ultra soon and into Lurkers of his own, ideally. He could try to go Broodlord. Broodlord is okay. Broodlord is just a really awkward transition. I say it's an awkward transition because Su already has some flyer upgrades. Maybe Ultras would be a little bit smoother for him. And there we go. 12 Corruptors are on the way. He's going for the Broodlords. I think I said Ultras will be smoother. Sorry, I'd say Broodlords will be smoother, just because of those air upgrades. So there is potential in these Broodlords. Potential. So if you're curious, the way this dynamic is going to work with Broodlord versus Lurker is it comes down to the Vipers. It will come down to the Vipers and their abductions, essentially. Less so Parasitic Bombs, but it's going to be about whether Serral can yoink and abduct those Broodlords within range of his own Hydras and Spore Crawlers. I say Spores in case it's defending, but in case of being aggressive, it's to yoink them on top of the Hydras. Again, Serral hasn't had an amazing crease spread, but if he takes his center base and he can set up these siege lines with Spore Crawlers as well, you get to see a very slow, methodical style out of Serral. Ultras revealed here towards the south. Roach's going for a bit of a counterattack. Serral pulling all the way back here to the rest of his army. Trading out those mutas. As the mutas get cleaned up, we're replacing them with Corruptors, with Broodlords. I believe the Broodlords have not been seen, but we still have 8 Vipers. So because of that, like, we should be okay. Of course, a cancel here with these Ultras. And we're going to be committing, pushing up a choke point into all these Lurkers. Oh, this is not the way to fight. Not the way to go. Su loses 2 of those Ultras, backs the hell off. Meanwhile, we were able to shut down one of the Vipers of Su as well. Good pickup. Yoinking some of these Overseers. As a reminder, you cannot yoink Ultras. They're just too thick. They're I mean, I don't think it's fun to yoink them either onto those Hydras. So we're getting whatever value we can out of these Vipers. Getting a couple of Overseers. Pushing forward. Now, I would love to see how many Broodlords we have. Okay, there we go. We have 11 Broodlords in total. And they haven't been revealed yet. That's what's important. As I mentioned before, Serral still has a lot of Vipers, so he has an answer for them. The Broodlords will not be like a checkmate move or anything like that. It's still going to be a back and forth. Here we go, big fumble with the Hydras. Oh my god! And the Vipers as well. Su taking a much better fight here. Does back up with his Ultras. Once again, catching the Hydras. Oh my god. Oh, a bit of an overextension towards the end, but Su, some really nice catches at the same time. Some lurker harass is going to be slowing him down. And this is what's scary. We reset the Hydra count, and what few Hydras were left, we just morphed them into lurkers. When the Broodlords reveal themselves, I'm really concerned that Cyril won't have enough anti-air. That's what I'm concerned about. Power bombs are thrown down here on the armies. Hydras are being rebuilt. We have a handful of them. Okay, this should be enough. As long as we don't morph in any more lurkers, we should have enough Hydras to deal with this. Okay, we're pushing on forward. We clean up the ultras. Oh, big overextension from Su. Losing every single ultra. And Su, he plummets in supply. And Cyril has momentum on his side. He can push out. He has Vipers as well. Here come the Broods. Broodlords are being revealed, but here come the yoinks. This is what we needed. We get 1, we get 2, we get 3. We get 4 as well. So many abductions here. Oh my, on all these Broodlords, and so many Broods are going to be going down as well. Ay, ay, ay. The power of the Viper. This is why in late game ZVZ, it's not about the Ultra, it's not about the Lurker, it's not about the Broodlord, it's about the Viper. The Vipers are the real MVPs. Out of 11 Broodlords to survive. A very efficient trade out of Cyril. And Su is down to sub 100 supply. He's remaxing on Ultra at this point. And this is going to be close to his last remax. Su, he's burning through his bank. And Cyril has just been so efficient. I'm a little bit concerned with how low his Vipers are. I would love to see them topped up. But regardless, they're all still alive and they're getting a lot done. I remember that final, so it was emotional. 16, that's 16 ultras, but that's a lot of ultras. Can we make it work? Maybe. If there aren't enough lurkers, it's possible. If there aren't enough lurkers, if we get some abductions with the Vipers as well. Here we go, the Brutes. They go caught out immediately, the Broodlords go down. You get one of those lurkers. Big fungal here on the Hydras. The Ultras are going to try and break through. Lurkers, they split here in a panic. And it looks like the Ultras, they get on top of some of these Lurkers. It looks like we should be able to clean this up. There's like 3 Lurkers left. Oh, where's the detection? No shot, no detection. Every Overseer went down. The Lurkers are safe. And we can go to town on these Ultras. They get on top of the base. We borrow. We borrow the drones, we keep them safe. The Ultras, they clean up the Hydras at least, but they can't do anything else. They cannot do much else here. Reinforcements arrive. We yoink in the final Broodlord. And Cyril, he's still cool as a cucumber. Overseers had been remade. But there's just not enough. GG gets called, and Cyril will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. A solid game there out of Cyril. It was a bit of a longer game, yes. Su did have map control, but throughout the entirety of that game, Cyril was just out-trading his opponent. He was so damn efficient with his units, with his compositions, with his control, with his Vipers, Infestors, Hydras, Lurkers. It was really good stuff out of Cyril. Su was trying to break Cyril at multiple times there in that game, but just could not pull it off, could not break him, could not pull him apart. There was that one moment where maybe he was banking on that Broodlord surprise, that Broodlord transition. But remember, when the Broodlords revealed themselves, we had 7 Vipers, and we just yoinked every single one of them, and they all went down. So very nice handling of the situation there by Cyril. And with that, he takes game 1. Takes game number 1. And it's going to be on Su here to fight back. To try to bounce back here in game 2. And we'll see if he can pull it off. It's going to be his map of choice. Ooh, going to be a bit of a much smaller map. We're going to be loading in to Hardlet. Let's go. Let us go. So for now, we are just gonna be setting this up here. Setting up the lobby. We have our cams back. Cyril has returned to us. Let's go. He has returned. He's got his own trophies in the background as well. But last, we are getting ready here for that second game. Now, because it's going to be on hard lead, I imagine Sue wants to be aggressive. Like, Sue went for a much longer game, of course, on Radisson Station, which makes a lot of sense just because of the map layouts, just because of the advantages on Radisson Station as well. Hard lead, very short rush distance by ground. Doesn't take long at all to be assertive here with Ling Bane, with Roach timings as well. I expect a little more a lot more of a back and forth early on. But here we go. In the top left-hand corner, we have for Team Basilisk, Cyril. And in the bottom right, we have for the Guangdong Freaks, it is Sue. Sue versus Cyril. Now, what I just said about the map being small and the rush distance being short and being aggressive, this is going to be applicable to both players. So we'll see which one takes advantage of this. We'll see who's the one who decides to try to take control of the wheel and be in the driver's seat. I imagine it's going to be Cyril, but we'll see. We'll see where we are taken. But now, though, it's going to be hatch first from both Cyril and Sue. This time, Cyril doesn't opt for the pull first. Going to be respecting his opponent, going for a standard economic opener. Unlike the previous games, we shouldn't be skipping gases, and there we go. It's going to be hatch gas pull. Everything is by the book. We're not cutting any corners, not this time. Again, if you're trying to learn some ZVZ and if you're trying to adapt your style, game 1 is not the one to really adapt to. It's the openers were very much so adapted to the map itself, to Radisson Station. Very unique to Radisson Station. We don't really get to see that kind of playstyle too often outside of maybe Golden Aura. Golden Aura is the other one, for its own reasons. But now that we're easing into game 2, so far nothing really tipping us off. No major signs of deviation yet. Essentially, we should be getting into our third bases, and we should be going for Baneling Nest. Basically, we'll be checking to see if anyone does cut workers early on. We'll see if anyone makes a mass amount of lings when they take their third. That's kind of the big moments that we're going to be looking at here for both players. Or even if they play 2 base, which 2 base play is a thing on hard lead. It is available to our players, but there we go. Should be getting our thirds. Drones are moving out. Thankfully. Get out of here with this 2 base play. There. Third base on the way for Sue and Cyril as well. Both players are going to be scouting each other, sending out a handful of lings just to get a read on, the third base timing, making sure that there is a Baneling Nest. Baneling Nest gets thrown down for Cyril. We should be seeing it for Sue in a couple of seconds once he gets the minerals for it. And there it is. Drone moves out, and the Baneling Nest should be thrown down. There it is. On the way. So no one is cutting any corners. Not yet. We've made it here to the beginning of the would-be mid-game. And there it is. Cyril does make a wave of lings. We got 10, 12 lings on the way. Cyril is going to be the aggressor. So Cyril's going to be in the face of Sue. Sue going to have to try to survive here with his own Ling Bane control. Now, this isn't all in out of Cyril. He's just applying pressure. His goal here is to get ahead. His goal here is to trade well and maybe get some drone kills. It's a bit of a test for Sue. And we'll see if Sue can survive. We'll see if Sue can not just survive, but fight back. Lings are getting a lot of damage done here to this hatchery. At the same time, they turn the tables here on the drone. Drone gets picked up. Banelings and Waddlings to the middle line. Do we see the Banelings? They're getting into the natural. And we do react. We do pull back. And we will not connect. Oh, what do we want? We're forcing so much lost mining time here. And there we go. 5 drones go down. Good damage. That's 5 workers plus lost mining time plus forcing Sue back. And with that, Cyril takes a very comfortable lead. Behind this, straight into a Roach Warren. Cyril, he's got the worker lead. He's got Roaches on the way. Stu is going for a counterattack with a Baneling. The Baneling should finish up just in time. So here come the Banelings of Stu. Here we go. We get a bit of a back and forth. The Roaches, they have arrived. They almost get surrounded. The Banelings of Stu forced back. And Cyril, he does hold. And I love this from Cyril. He's going to be pushing with his Roaches. He has to be very careful, though, not to get surrounded as Su's coming in. Comes in for the surround. Cyril not too far behind with his own reinforcements. He does force back the Lings. And again, behind this, Cyril is droning, by the way. Cyril, he is not reinforcing. He is saturating that third base as hard as he can. Basically, what Cyril is doing is he's puffing up his chest. He's kind of faking out Su. He's like, oh, I'm going all in you. Nah. Joke's back. As Cyril backs up. Again, he just revealed his army to the Overlords. He was making it look like he was committing, which means Su has made an army, not drones. So Cyril gets even further ahead in the economy. He's on 53 drones compared to the 34 of Su. And once Cyril gets up to a 3-base economy, now he can comfortably focus on roach production and out macro his opponent. Again, a big part of ZVZ is kind of faking out your opponent, feigning attacks left and right. The fake outs are real. Meanwhile, Su was forced to make an army, and he's going to make use of it. At the same time, Banelings, they roll in. One Baneling will connect. Oh, not even. As Cyril, he's just mustering up his army here to defend, and he should be able to hold on. Lings do make it into the main base, though. And drones are being forced off the mineral line. But we don't really kill too many drones. We maybe killed one worker, if that. Yeah, there we go. 2 drones go down. Cyril, though, has been mining more for longer, and now he can focus on the counterattack. And here we go. Roaches on the way. +1 range, roach speed. Su's still recovering. Still on the way. We'll see if he can. Again, the upgrade timing for Cyril is going to be pretty insane. It's going to be pretty intense. As Cyril, he's a little bit of 2 minds. He's droning a little bit and also making a bit of an army. +2 range has begun. So it looks like Cyril wants to go for a more secure victory here. Basically, Cyril, he's run up to 66, and he's cutting workers at 66. That is 3 base saturation. That's all you need. That's all you need in ZVZ, really. I say that. He's running a little bit more. Being a little bit greedy here. But for the most part, he knows that he's up in upgrade, so he's going to be waiting for +2. He's going to be droning up his 4th a little bit here while he maxes out on roaches. And once he does max out, once he hits that +2 timing, then he can be aggressive. It's going to be on Stu to recover. Su isn't out of this. He's down in a couple of different ways, that is true. But we can always come back with drop lords, maybe Tulling Claw roaches, or even just straight up harassing and out positioning your opponent. Su does have options. The options aren't easy ones, but they're options nonetheless. And I want to believe that he can pull this off. As I say that though, Cyril, he has hit critical mass. He droned up to 73. That is where we are cutting workers. We have Burrow on the way. +2 still on the horizon. Before +2 finishes, though, we're setting up for the push. Setting up for the attack. Posturing, dipping in. Here we go. Cyril, he wants to commit. A stutter stepping forward here, taking some biles to the face, but avoiding most of them. A bit of an anti-timing, +2 still on the way, but he doesn't even need it. The numbers are just too far in favor of Cyril. Doesn't even need the +2 here as he is breaking this 4th base. And Su is being forced further and further back towards his natural, into his mineral line as well. Queens are brought forward, clutch transfuse. But even with the transfuses, still not going to be enough. Ravagers are being forced back. The Biles take down an Overlord. You love to see it. And yeah, with these rally drill reinforcements, Cyril is just too much. He has broken the fort. He's broken the army. GG gets called, and Cyril will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. A solid performance there from Cyril. Again, two different styles in Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1 was much more macro-oriented and Cyril just trading so efficiently. Here in Game 2, it was a lot more like mind games and like posturing and back and forth here in the mid-game with Roach v Roach. But alas, a big moment. The winning moment for Cyril, honestly, was the Baling run by. Was the 2 Balings hitting 5 worker kills. That was a really big moment really early on. And the more drones you lose early on in the game, the more impactful it is as well. That was just, from that moment, Cyril got ahead and he just maintained his lead as well. GG, well played. With that wraps up our second series. Team Bassus will be winning this matchup, but is it going to be a 4-2, maybe a 5-1, a 6-0? Up next, Trigger versus Keen to end the series. We're going to be going on a short break. We'll see you soon. Welcome back. We are here with our final best of 2 here of this Team League match of Team Bassus versus the Quagnon Freaks. We just wrapped up with Cyril versus Sue. And now we're here with a different matchup, a TVP between Trigger and Keen. And I believe this is going to be a closer one, a much closer series. When it comes to the previous matchups, a little bit more of a skill disparity. But here we go in the bottom left-hand corner. We have a Team Bassus. It is Trigger. And in the top right, we have the team captain of the Quagnon Freaks. It is Commander Keen. And if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold. Personally, I think this is going to be the closest one of the night. Reina versus Stats and Cell versus Sue, a little more one-sided in favor of Team Bassus. I think most people did bet on the 2 zeros. This one, I can see Keen making Trigger work for it. I can 100% see that. Trigger is a strong player, don't get me wrong, and okay, to get into this, Trigger, his best matchup is Terran versus Protoss, and we have seen Trigger defeat players like Byun, defeat players like Gumiho, defeat players like Kyor. Like, Trigger, he's done it before. He has taken down some big Korean Terrans, and I think this is the matchup where Trigger can thrive the most. That saying, Keen, I do think is, again, always there, always willing to put it all on the line for his team, and we've seen him take down some big names in the past in WTL. I want to believe at least a 1-1, but we'll see. We'll see. I can understand people placing their lives, their gamba, their channel points on Trigger. I can definitely see that. We'll see. We'll see if the Quagnon Freaks can fight back. For now, it is going to be a single gas opener. So Keen is going for something more economic. He's going for a Rax Expand. Very economic opener here out of Keen. Meanwhile, behind this, Trigger going for a standard opener as well. Everything is looking by the book for the time being. Now, when it comes to Keen's playstyle, we have been having the luxury of casting a lot of him here in WTL, and he has been very aggressive on 2 bases. 2 base aggression is typically the MO of Commander Keen. Usually if he takes a 3rd base, he's forced into a 3rd, is what I should say. So we'll see how aggressive he's going to be, and we'll see if Trigger can keep up. First Reaper has arrived. The Stalker's on the way in a couple of seconds, so we're going to get a couple of hits in. We can maybe kill one probe, but the Stalker is going to zone back that Reaper for the time being. I'm loving this opener as well from Trigger. Based on how aggressive Keen has been, Trigger is going for a Stalker into Sentry. It's a very safe way to open up in this matchup. It isn't very aggressive, but very safe. The goal here is not to deal some harassing damage or delay across the map, but that Sentry will provide a hallucination to get a scatter. So again, a very safe way to play here from Trigger. Meanwhile, behind this, we have a Twilight Council as well, so it's going to be Blink Stalkers out of our Canadian Protoss. Meanwhile, Keen behind this, going for a delayed starport. If I'm not mistaken, he went Rax, CC into Factory into second Rax. A very delayed starport here. And it looks like we're going to be going up to 3 Raxes from Keen, so if that's going to be the case, it is going to be a very dedicated 2-base push. As the Reaper is going to go down, but the Reaper gave his life to the cause, and we did scout the Twilight Council. So Keen, he's aware he doesn't have to worry about Oracle Harass or Phoenix Harass or anything like that. He's aware he doesn't have to worry about anything in his mineral lines, and he can hyperfixate on Stalker aggression. Cyclone, barely misses the hallucination. It was, oh god. It was in position, but barely did miss it. Trigger, he gets in, he gets a full scout, and Trigger, he confirms the second Rax, he confirms the third Rax, and the delayed starport. Now, to be fair, this was a starport before third Rax, so not the most aggressive of builds from Keen. We have seen a lot of players just intentionally delay their starport for so long, building up Marines, Marauders, Cyclones, tanks, and then going for a big 2-base all-in. This is a little bit different. Because of the faster starport, we can see Medevac is already on the way, and we can go for some Cyclone Harass. I'm assuming we will, but we'll see kind of how that Medevac is going to be used. Meanwhile, Trigger is moving out. He only has a handful of Stalkers, but his goal here is to contain his opponent. Blink isn't done. This is a very risky maneuver here from Trigger, and hopefully he doesn't lose too much. Hopefully he's able to get away with this, and again, just maintain a presence outside of the natural. There it is. Additional gateways are on the way. I believe that's going to be 3 gates in total. Oh god, as one Cyclone gets picked up. Very nice pickups here from Trigger. Takes that one, almost gets a second. Good juggling from Keen. Does avoid those shots. Good control from our Korean Terran. Behind this, as I mentioned, I believe it's 3-gate blink into a third base. So very standard opener out of Trigger. Very safe way to play. Not hyperly aggressive. Is just expanding, taking control of his third base while he works on his transition. That transition is going to be Blink Stalkers into Charge and Colossus. So very gateway oriented. Opting to delay his Colossus production here in favor of going for that charge and setting up his third. Blink Stalkers trading with the army. Meanwhile, we do have a drop that's being peeled away. There we go. We have a bit of a Marine drop being sent over towards that natural base. Marines and Widow Mines, by the way. Trigger, his attention is being kept here on the front lines. It's being kept on Keen's main army. And will Trigger be able to respond in time? There's a lot of potential in this drop. That drop could get out of hand. Meanwhile, first Colossus in production. We have 4 more gates. I believe that is 7 gates in total, if I'm not mistaken. Which is a pretty solid amount here on 3 bases. Could be working towards an 8th gate. Behind this, Trigger thinking about a 4th. Still building up his Colossus count. Once he gets his 3rd fully operational with his gases, then he can afford double rover production to make 2 Colossi at a time and Disruptors. We're not there yet, but Disruptors and Colossus, they're going to be on the horizon here for Trigger. For now, though, Keen is pushing. Once again, just trying to keep the attention of Trigger here on the main army. That drop is still being kept close, but there we go. We're pulling the trigger. We're going straight for the natural. The drop is making its way towards the natural waste. At the same time, Keen threading that third. And Trigger, does he notice? He just warped in. The Colossus comes out just in time. Mine shot's going to be going off. Only on 1 probe. And Trigger will deal with this. At the same time, the main army pushes in, but Trigger, he is all over the place. He's all over this. He's at his third base. He's at his natural. He's in his main as well. The drop will be taking down the shield battery, but Trigger, he warps in. He defends on every front. He shuts everything down. Oh my god, even getting a kill on that medevac. Shout out to the picture-in-picture. And Keen is being forced further and further back. Now, has Trigger overextended? That Colossus looking vulnerable. Up. He wants the Colossus. He wants it, and he will not get it. There's one Marauder left. Oh my god, with the final shot. The Colossus goes down, but that was so much. That was so much army for one Colossus. For one drop of blood here as Trigger is going for a big counterattack. Again, Trigger, he knows he has momentum. He knows he can punish this sword. Good force fields. Likewise, good juggling. Oh, no. Good juggling, but we shut down the medevac. Oh, the hallucinations. They bait out the mine shots as well. Very nicely done out of Trigger. Smooth moves from our Canadian Protoss here as he's looking to cancel this third base, and he will force a cancel. What are my shots? Good connections here with the Zealots. But it looks like Trigger, he's snowballing out of control. He shut down the main army, he shut down the third base, and now he's breaking the natural as well. Mine shot's going to be going off, but the Colossus still stands strong. And as long as we have that one Colossus again, there's just too much to handle. As I say that, Trigger, he's getting his fourth base, waiting for reinforcements as well. He doesn't have a War Prism, so he cannot reinforce on the front lines. It's taking a little bit longer here to actually amass his army. But Keen, he's in some trouble. He's in quite a lot of trouble at this point. And here we go. We're coming. The Chargers, they come in. They force some friendly fire with those wind mines. 11 SCVs go down. We are diving on top of the Colossus. The Marauder's doing a lot of damage. The boys. The Colossus barely goes down to the lightning shot. But that was 22 SCVs. And even though Keen has survived the attack, he's not really living. He's limping along here. His economy in shambles. And he did so much to kill one Colossus, and now here comes a second. GG gets called, and Trigger will take game number 1. GG, a solid game there out of Trigger. I was loving the back and forth as well. Like, when it came to that game, we saw Keen was coming in with almost a tri-pronged attack. He was attacking at the natural, at the main base. He was pushing towards the third as well. He was testing the limitations of Trigger, but Trigger, he kept up. He was able to keep up, able to go blow to blow here with the punches of Keen, keep up with him, and even overtake him. So a solid result there out of Trigger. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. It's going to be Keen's map of choice. The way this works here, again, loser's pick in WTL. No vetoes. And I wonder, what does Keen want? I imagine he wants a smaller map. I imagine hard lead, maybe, I was gonna say, yeah, Oceanborn. Oceanborn wouldn't be too bad either. And he's going for the other one. He's going for Golden Aura. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. I don't know if Keen is one to eBay block. Wouldn't be a bad map for it. This map is a very short rush distance by ground, similar to Oceanborn in that sense. But Golden Aura also has a very defendable 3-base setup. And even 4-base setup. So I wonder, we could be looking to go into the mid-game, or we could be looking to try to end the game a little bit earlier instead. I'm curious. Curious what the plan is going to be here for Keen. And how prepared he is coming into game 2. Oh, the sun is rising. Let's go. Is it snow? It's snowing. Let's go. Again, Trigger, he's in Canada at the moment. Makes sense. I mean, in my brain, when I think of Canada, even when it isn't winter, even when it's summer, it's snowing. Like, that's that's just the image in my mind. But here we go in the bottom right hand corner. We have Trigger for Team Basilisk. And even in the top left, we have his opponent. We have Keen for the Cragnome Creeks. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know. In my brain, it's just always cold in Canada. In my brain, at least. As we are settling into this, and so far, we are just getting into our openers. What I'm referring to as well is that Keen hasn't proxied. That's the other thing that was on my mind, is I wonder, is Keen willing to proxy as well in game 2? But no. Everything's at home. No proxy Raxes. So far, everything is by the book. Trigger going to be moving out with the probe scout. Trying to get a read on what is going on. And once again, it looks like Keen is going for an economic opener. Winding it back a little bit, if you recall, game 1, Keen did go for a Rax expand with a single gas opener, and it's looking to be very similar here in game number 2. So, standard economic openers here from Keen. Likewise, Trigger going for a Gate Cyber expand as well. Oh, I spoke too soon. So I was curious like who would be the aggressor on Golden Aura, if anyone, and it looks like the answer is going to be Trigger. We throw it in a pylon, Cyber Core is done. We could go for a proxy Stargate, or we could go for a second gateway to reinforce and to keep the pressure up. Adept is on the way, and what is our choice going to be here for Trigger? As we wait a little bit longer, there it is. We were waiting for 150 gas, and that is enough for a proxy Stargate. So this is not all in by any means. This is a way to get ahead economically. With this proxy Stargate, we should be going into a proxy Oracle, getting very quickly into the mineral line here of Keen, very quickly looking to cripple the economy of the Korean Terror. And we'll see if he can pull this off. For now, we are getting into our opener as well from Keen, getting into a straight up 1-1-1. Interesting, a very different opener this time. If you remember, in game number 1, we went for a delayed starport into a faster second Rax to build up the marine count, went for a marine Widowmine drop. Here instead, it's looking like we're going to reactor to Hellions, then we go into a mine drop, getting into faster stim, question mark, with that tech lab. I imagine we won't be going for an add-on swap, as the Hellions barely miss the tech. Oof. Okay, the Oracle's on the way. Now, depending on the Widowmine positioning, we can defend. We can shut down the Oracle, but before that happens, the Hellions, they've made it to the mineral line. They make it into that natural. At the same time, Adepts also make it in. The Oracle hits the field. The Widowmines are not in position, and SCVs are going down. Ay. Gonna be 5, 6 SCVs in total. The wall is a wall. Hellions across the map get cleaned up. And we are still just getting so much done. Widowmines are trying to reposition. We could even try to force some friendly fire. Ay. As the Widowmines waddle behind the mineral line and the shot does not go off. Again, I'm so concerned that we force the mine shots off on those SCVs. As a Widowmine is going to be waddling into the natural. Trigger, does he react? Oh, no reaction. No reaction. But only 2 workers go down. That could have been so much worse. Could have been so much worse here. As both Oracles have survived. As the dust does settle, Trigger, he is up 10 workers. And the mine drop. Oh my god. The Widowmine drop has been denied. Again, Keen wanted to be active on the map. He wanted to move out, but alas, he is stuck at home. We could be going in with a second Oracle, but there is a Cyclone now in position. Depths will threaten the shade. And Trigger will back up. Behind this is getting into Blink. We have Blink on the horizon here for those Stalkers. Not going to Phoenixes. Just double Oracle into the Twilight Council. Just going to be double Oracle. And from here, Trigger is taking a third base. Looks like the game is going to be settling down a little bit. I say a little bit because Keen is still amassing an army. Marines, Cyclones, tanks, Vikings as well. I don't know if Keen really intends to take a third base, or maybe he'll take a third, but only as he pushes. Show us what you got. Nice revelation here on the army. Trigger does have eyes on the first force, but here comes the second. Now again, this is not an all-in at a Keen. We do see a CC behind this. Oh no, the medevac! Oh, the medevac does go down. You can hear the screams off screen as we shut down the full medevac. Ay, ay, ay. At the same time, though, Keen are pushing across the map. He's committed. And Trigger is out of position. Uh-oh, we could end up in a weird base trade. Could end up in a very weird base trade here as the Stalkers do retreat. Bunkers are on the way. Big mine shot's going to be going up. This shield battery is going to be going down, but we do have a second shield battery behind this. Overcharge is popped. Overcharge is popped, but it's not going to be enough. We do see Keenies breaking through. The Stalkers from behind. Can we get on top of the tanks? It looks like we can. Both tanks go down. The bunkers have not finished, not yet. And this army is so battered, so bruised. We got 5 more gates on the way. It's going to be 8 in total. And as Keen finishes up these bunkers, Trigger, he's going for a counterattack once again. Trying to catch some reinforcements. Viking lands in the main base, but we have Stalkers to reinforce as well. We defend, Spaffy. To defend. The Trigger pushing in. He finds a naked tank. Tank goes down. Tank was exposed. There we go. Does force a recall out of Trigger. And with this Trigger, he still has a lot of momentum on his side. Keen still has not taken a third base. Trigger has been happily mining from 3 bases. Happily with quite a hefty worker lead. Up 7 workers. He catches the Marines. The Marines, they do not make it back home. The bunkers are not done either. There is 1 tank on the high ground. And Trigger does not have high ground vision. But the Zelte file in. They get on top of the Marines. It looks like Trigger, he just has an overwhelming army. GG gets called. He breaks the natural. And Trigger will get the 2-0, taking down Keen. And not dropping a single game, not a single map for Team Basilisk. GG. GG, well played. A solid result here from all the players on Team Basilisk, and there's a reason why they are one of the strongest teams in the league. I think they're top 3. They're top 3 underneath DKZ and Onside, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, really solid performance there out of Team Basilisk. They will be making it into the playoffs. My condolences to the Quangdong Freaks. That's going to be the last that we see of them this season, and they will not make it into the playoff bracket. They had a really rough season of WTL, a really rocky road for them, but I wish them the best of luck, especially players like Stats that are going to IM Katowice next year. Best of luck. They still have a lot of room to grow. Stats has a lot of skill to recover as well, if he wants to perform well at IEM. So I do wish him the best of luck here, as we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have Platinum Heroes versus Matcherino Esports. We will see you guys soon. Take this time to Hydra, stretch your roaches, massage your Marines, and we'll be back in 4 minutes. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second Team League match of the night. Welcome back to World Team League 2023 Winter Codex, round 11, day number 2. The final round of the round robin group stage. This is the final opportunity for these teams to get some points and to solidify themselves in the playoffs as well. It has been an intense season of WTL, and it all comes down to this. Again, both Matcherino and Platinum Heroes are actually pretty close in the standings. They are still not secure yet in their placement here. I believe currently Matcherino is number 9, Platinum Heroes is number 10, but you do need to get into the top 7, I believe, to make it out. Sorry, top 8? Top 8, yeah. Oh boy, and I think maybe Matcherino, I don't think they can make it through, but regardless, they're going to be duking it out here against the Platinum Heroes, and this is going to be a much closer series, I believe. Much closer compared to what we had previously, much closer compared to Basilisk versus the Clangdorn Freaks, and here we go. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold in this PvP between Goblin and Estrella. Predictions open. Own PK tank. Oh, if you want to go to bench, Bappy. Or if you want, you can subscribe and use the proper bed emote. You can. It's beautiful. It's a duck. As game 1 is going to be on Hecate. Let us go. Again, as a reminder, it's going to be a PvP, so going to be a little bit closer here when it comes to how things can unfold. I do want to favor Estrella. Estrella is going to be coming in as the favorite player, but this could still go either way. And here we go in the bottom left-hand corner. We have for the Platinum Heroes, Goblin. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have for Matcherino Esports. It is Estrella. Let's go. Again, Estrella being our most recent, or actually for the entire year, the NA champion from ESL Masters Americas. And before we get into the players, big shout out to the sponsors as well for WTL, Doyu, Honkai Star, Taidu, and Autofool as well. Without those lovely sponsors, we would not have these events. Again, they help support World Team League, they help support Kung Fu Cup, and they also help support Masters Coliseum. I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again here in this new series. Masters Coliseum 7 has been announced by the organizers of WTL, and the Masters Coliseum qualifiers are next week. We will be covering them. It's going to be qualifiers for the Asia region, for Europe, and for Korea, all leading into one big premier event. There will be invited players based on their performances in WTL. That's another big reason why individual standings and individual ELO in WTL is important, because you do get invited, you get seeded into Masters Coliseum. Not just WTL, but also Kung Fu Cup. Outside of that, we are getting to our openers. It looks like Estrella's going to be going for a double gate opener. Likewise, so is Goblin. So everything is looking mirrored for the time being. Mirrored builds here between our players. Goblin has been a rising star in the European region for a number of years now. For a long time, he was on Team Roddy. Then, of course, he spread his wings. He got picked up by Platinum Heroes a couple of years ago. And he's been doing well for himself. What I will say, though, is that on the Platinum Heroes, he has kind of been overshadowed in recent times. Last season, it was DNS. This season, it was Firefly. The Platinum Heroes, they have a lot of really strong Protoss players in their lineup, and it can be sometimes a little bit hard to really shine amongst them if you're a player like Goblin or Shadown, for example. But they're still powerful players in their own right, and very unique as well. Goblin, he's very prone to incorporating Sky Toss, for example, or Phoenixes if he can. So I'm ready for it. I'm excited. For now, we do have a double Stalker out of Estrella. I believe Stalker Sentry out of Goblin. There we go. Sentries are on the way. As we are easing into this, so far, no proxy, no fake hidden pylon. Goblin and Estrella going for their expansions. As Probe Scouts are being forced back. We're dragging Goblin out of position, by the way. Uh-oh. And Estrella, he has the high ground. That Probe may go down, but Estrella, he's hoping to catch this Stalker. And there we go. Does catch him. 2 for 1. The Probe survived as well. The Probe did make it out. Ay, ay, ay. And this is going to be a nice little win here for Australia. Doesn't look like the biggest of deals, but killing one Stalker almost for free like this, like, is huge in the early game. Every unit counts. Behind this, we're getting into our tech. Both players are going for their Twilight Councils. We mentioned before that because Goblin went for a slightly faster Sentry, he gets a Scout up. Hallucination does confirm the base location as well as the tech of choice. Likewise, Australia should be scouting soon as well. And there we go. Hallucination is moving towards the left-hand side of the map. Likewise, is going to be confirming the Twilight Council and the Natural Waste timing. Oh my god, Australia going straight for a third! That is a... We don't even have any saturation at the natural, by the way. Like, the natural of Goblin isn't even done. This is so greedy from Australia, and this is why I love Australia in general. He is a very quirky player, not just in PvP, but in other matchups as well. Australia is willing to be more exploratory. He's willing to be more diverse in his play. And rushing to a third base, and he's faking out a push here, hallucinating 4 Stalkers. Oh my god. Australia just puffing up his chest, making it look like he only has 2 Stalkers, by the way. That's all he has in this army, but he's forcing a massive reaction. Shield batteries are on the way. Robots being prioritized into Immortal production, I imagine. There we go. Immortals on the way. For Australia, I should say. And yeah, now Hallucination does realize what's been happening. The jig is up. Goblin now sees the third. But again, I love that out of Australia, just faking out his opponents. Getting into his Immortal production. Am I crazy? I thought I saw Australia go for a Twilight Council, but maybe I had just seen the production tab of Goblin instead. It looks like he has not been able to go and invest into Blink. Now, as the dust does settle, Australia, he will have the better economy. Straight up. Yeah, he does have a Twilight Council. It's going to be a robot. So Australia, he does have he is going to have a better economy, but his army is going to be weaker. But that's where the Immortals come into play. Even if you're down 4, 5, 6 Stalkers, a handful of Immortals will make up for that. They will make up for your Stalker deficit, especially defensively back at home with the help of shield batteries. So Australia, he's building up an Immortal army here before eventually getting into his gateway tech of choice, most likely Charge. Hallucination confirms that the army is still back at home. Also confirms the Robo just now finishing, and you can see that Goblin wants to be aggressive. He knows that he's behind. He knows that he is behind in the economy, so we have that Cybercore? We have that War Prism on the way. With this, we can reinforce. With this, we can push. Meanwhile, Australia, he's taking up even further. He's going Immortal into Disruptors. That is a Robotics Bay on the way for the Red Protoss. We are taking up quite heavily here into Forge, into +1. This is a lot of tech, and if the game goes on longer, Australia is going to get away with so much. But can he get away with it? Again, Goblin, he knows that he's under a lot of pressure. He knows that he has to make something happen here. As he moves out, Adepts move in. Goblin just wants to push, and probes are going down. Good positioning, forcing a recall. We recalled not all the Stalkers, but a handful of them. And so many probes are going down. Australia already had an economic lead, and now an even greater one. 6 probes go down, but Goblin, he goes for the blink into the main base. Once again, Hallucination. We do have 3 Immortals. Looks to be 4, though. Good force fields are thrown down. Good juggling here as well from Australia. We'll lose 1 Stalker. But his army is in position, and he does force Goblin back. Again, Australia doesn't have to kill the army, just has to defend. It just has to hold, just has to force back the army. And he's not going Disruptor. He's going Colossus. He's crazy. Oh my god. Going straight into Colossus production instead. Now, for those wondering, Colossus do have a place in a PvP matchup. They're very niche. Basically, Colossus are like a... They're a different way to get into an anti-Zealot army. To deal with Zealots, to deal with Charge Lots, you get Archons, true. They do a lot of splash damage. Colossi, they're, again, an alternate way. That's the word I was looking for. An alternate way to deal with Charge Lots in a gateway composition. They provide you some consistent splash damage as well. They're not as impactful as Disruptors, but, you know, they're a little bit reliable. They're okay. You don't see them too often, though. Mainly it's like Skillet. Skillet sees in love with Colossus and PvP. Estrella? He's flirting with the idea. Meanwhile, we can see Goblin behind this, getting into his own second Robo. Double Disruptor production on the way for Goblin. A much more standard. Again, Goblin, he's playing a standard PvP. Estrella, he's just throwing out these curveballs left and right. A lot more unique. A lot more varied. Here we go. As Goblin, his aggression has subsided. He's trying to recover here on his 3 bases. Estrella, meanwhile, Extinto Malance is about to kick in. Second or even third Colossus on the way. Blink as well. Colossus has been revealed. And Estrella, he's just chilling. Just big chilling here, taking a fourth even. Taking another base. Does try to catch this army. Doesn't have Blink, but does force a recall. And with that recall being forced, Estrella is pushing. He's looking to deny the 4th base of his opponent. Unfortunately, rocking up at the wrong 4th. But he can push towards the natural. Disruptors have arrived. No Blink! Oh my god. We have to be very careful with our army. Novas are soon going to be going up. And without Blink, Estrella, he has very limited mobility here against them. So be very careful with how he engages. This Goblin is pushing out. Fearsome is going to be forced back. Estrella respecting the disruptors. Just going to give Goblin a little bit more room. Or just rotating back around. 4th base of Estrella is getting up and running. Estrella, he still hasn't got eyes on the 4th base of Goblin. He doesn't know where it is. I'm sure he's assuming it just isn't there. Oh. Blink gonna finish up in a couple of seconds. There it is, 13 seconds away. Oh my god. Estrella just needs a little bit more time and then he can dive. Okay, he's looking for it as well. Pushing from both angles. Blink is done. Never goes off. Ooh, big connection here with the Colossus, but they just tanked the disruptor shots. Not the Stalkers though. Big connections. Nova's going to be going off as well. The last one does miss. And it looks like Estrella just may have too much. Nova's connecting with the Immortals. Big connection on the right-hand side. But the Stalkers are breaking through. We dive on top of the disruptors. Big Nova goes off, but it's not going to be enough. GG gets called. And Estrella will take game number 1. GG. Again, Estrella, he did take some Novas to the face, but macro-wise, Estrella snowballed out of control. He was able to get a really fast 3rd base, get a faster 4th base as well, defend, survive, and get away with so much tech and just snowball out of control. Eventually, his economy was reflected in his army size as he was up in supply, and with that, he had the better concave, better engage. GG. GG, well played. A solid game 1 there out of Estrella. But we are looking to fight back, to bounce back here in game 2. I want to believe. I want to believe we can pull this off here. It is going to be Goblin's map of choice. Max, laptop gamer. Yeah, for those wondering, the reason why we're getting this kind of low angle shots of Max, I believe he's back home. He's back at home with family, and I believe he's using his phone as a webcam. Demi, you can, if you know anything else, maybe you can correct us. But I believe we're basically getting like a cam shot, like an iPhone cam shot from Estrella. It's like right next to his keyboard, essentially. Not his usual setup. Let's go. Yeah, who needs a gaming PC? Just play on a laptop, bud. Just play on a laptop. Let's go. Is that how his family also looks at Estrella? It's how I want to look at Estrella, okay? It's how it's how we all want to look at Estrella, okay? Let's be real, Papi. Let's be real. Ay. Let's go. As we are loading into this and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have it. Goblin for the Platinum Heroes. And in the bottom right, we have, for the Matcherino, Estrella. And this is Goblin's map of choice. An interesting map choice. Oceanborn does have a shorter rush distance by ground, so you can be more assertive and more aggressive. The 4th base is more exposed. The 3rd is pretty defendable, but the 4th is a little more out there and a little more vulnerable. So we'll see if Goblin does plan on being a little bit more aggressive here as we get into game 2. Which one is Matcherino? Estrella. You can see on the top the logos. You can see PH is Platinum Heroes, MX is Maturino, and Estrella is playing for Maturino Esports. You can also tell by the border on the webcam. You can see it's a little bit hard to see, but for Goblin's webcam, it's a blue border for Platinum Heroes, and for Estrella, it's a red border. So you can see a little bit better there if you are curious. It is color-coded. As we get into this so far, Estrella coming in with a probe scout across the map, confirming that everything is back at home. It's true. It's very acidic. Yes. Animals. But the probe scout comes in and does get eyes on the pylon. Same can be said for Goblin. So essentially here in the early game of PvP, it's all about just confirming where the second pylon is. It is very commonplace in this matchup for the second pylon to be thrown down out on the map, whether it's a fake proxy pylon or a very real proxy pylon. It's something you have to be wary of, and both players, they confirm that everything is looking normal. Everything is on the up and up. Second pylons are in their respective bases. So far, both players confirm the standard opener, and we have our first two units of choice. It's going to be Stalker Sentry out of Goblin, Double Stalker out of Estrella. Fun fact, mirrored builds compared to Game 1. Game 1, Estrella also went Double Stalker. Game 1, Goblin also went Stalker Sentry. That's also why, if you remember, Goblin got his first Stalker caught out, because he didn't really have the Stalker count, and he was kind of lured out into the open by the probe. But I'm sure Goblin is going to be a little bit more wary of that. As we are going to be moving out here. Again, we can see just the positioning of the third pylon further back in the main base has been hidden. But Estrella is going to be pushing, expanding here on location as well. Goblin should soon be scouting with his hallucination to confirm what exactly is going on, where the pylons are, and where the base has been taken. Again, Goblin may actually be fooled into believing it's going to be a one-base all-in here. For now, additional sentries on the way. The Stalkers have arrived. They're going to be poking and prodding. Goblin will force this back. As Estrella once again opening up, not with the Twilight Council, but with a Robo. Robo is going to be his second choice. It's usually very defensive. It's a way to get into faster Immortals. We could throw down a third gateway and go for a Warp Prism and be hyper aggressive, but usually a Robo opener is just very defensive. Just very defensive here from Estrella. Just like last game. See in the chat. Actually, it's PH. it's PH, if you will. Thank you, War. Thank you for the correction. Behind this, we spoke about the defensive opener of Estrella going for that Robo first, and we see why he's going straight to a very fast third base as well. Hallucination is going to be coming in. Estrella confirming the tech. He does get eyes on the Twilight Council. He gets eyes on the natural base up and running, and Goblin will soon realize what's been going on as well. So this is very similar to last game. The biggest difference, if you remember, in Game 1, Estrella faked out two-base aggression with all these hallucinations, and he made it look like he was going all in, and he hit his third base. This time, Goblin is that much more faster, confirming the timing of the third. As a result, Goblin responds with his own third. Faster than last game. Not as fast as Estrella's, but not too far behind. So Goblin, his answer upon seeing the greed of Estrella is not to punish it, is to try to catch up. So bold move out of Goblin. His goal here is to try to keep up with Estrella's economy. Meanwhile, Estrella, he's got the immortal advantage. We do have a prism on the way. I think this prism is only for harassment. I don't think Estrella intends to move out with a committed push. With this war prism, he will be able to actually ferry adepts into the main base to get some economic damage done. We'll see. We'll see if he moves out with the army. As for now, he's going to be chilling here, establishing his third. Forge now on the way, Twilight Council as well. Estrella's Twilight Council is delayed, that is true, but I don't think he intends to actually move out and commit before any kind of big blink timing. Again, no, with the Robo Opener, just being defensive, still going to be stuck at home instead. Goblin has map control, but with it, he's not really achieving too much. Getting into a faster charge, though. Immortal production continuing. I wouldn't be surprised if with this Twilight Council he goes into charge instead of blink. Like if he skips blink instead, that would make sense here for Estrella. Adepts are getting ready to harass Estrella. He takes a 4th base as well. Again, just Estrella being so greedy in this PvP. Always the first to expand, always the first to focus on his economy. As a result, forcing his opponent to react to him. Estrella is the one making moves. Goblin the one reacting. Meanwhile, here we go. The War Prism has arrived. Now, I assume the War Prism would be moving out for harassment, but it's been chilling at home. Meanwhile, Hallucination just saw the 4th base. Goblin responds with his own 4th, so once again, Goblin is 1 step behind when it comes to the economy, but again, trying to keep up. And here we go. He's moving out with his army. Massive wall being set up here by Estrella. Oh my... Talking about turtling up. Estrella's like, yo, you've heard of European PvP where it's like no rush, like 15 minutes? Yo, I got you. As a Goblin has arrived, his goal here to force a cancel on the 4th, they should be able to. Estrella, he may have walled off. Is that a kill? I didn't quite see. No shot. We may... Regardless, we do deny the 4th there. I didn't quite get to see if we got the resources back or not for that. But regardless, Estrella, he was setting up defensively. He was walling off, but again, his 4th was vulnerable. And now suddenly, Goblin has the faster 4th, and this will allow him to catch back up in the economy. He will be able to catch up. Charge is done. We're getting into the rest of our upgrades as well. Estrella trying to keep up with his own blink and +1, going blink instead of charge. In a head-to-head fight, I would still favor Estrella just because of those immortals, but we'll see what kind of direction Goblin takes us in. Here we go, as Goblin is going to be rotating through the center of the map. Moving over towards that 4th. Once again, looking to cancel it, looking to deny it. Estrella building up his forces. Again, these immortals do pack quite a punch, so that's why in a head-to-head fight I still want to favor Estrella. That's a lot of charge lots, and we don't have Archons or Colossi. Not this time. Goblin taking a 5th base behind this. Now it's going to be his turn to take an economic lead. He's up in workers, up in economy. Goblin rotating towards the center of the map. Is going to be spotted by the observer. Estrella likewise rotating as well over towards the natural, trying to keep up with the movement of Goblin. So far, so good. And I am a little bit concerned that we don't have an answer for these zealots. So usually, to deal with all these mass charge lots in PvP, Archons are the traditional way. Of course, you can also go Colossus like we saw in the previous game as well. A couple of Adepts do get across the map. 2 Adepts do one-shot workers. We get 3, we get 4 probes. And Estrella's pushing towards the 5th. Goblin a little bit out of position, but he's coming in from the right-hand side. And he's coming in with his mass charge lots. He's getting on top of the Immortals. The Immortals, the shields are triggered. 8 probes go down, and Estrella, he is committing. Good force fields. Slicing up the army, forcing those Stalkers back. And as a result, Estrella, he shaves off most of those Zealots before the Stalkers could even engage. Really good fight so far here by Estrella. But here we go, you can see that Goblin is trying to set up a surround as well. Force fields are thrown down, Estrella backing off. And once again, the Zealots are being dealt with. Yeah, we clean up all the Zealots. Goblin essentially fighting with only half his army. And you can see Goblin fighting with only half his army, and Estrella takes a massive supply lead. Goblin bleeding out far too much there. That was 2 fights in a row where Goblin just bled out all of his Zealots. And now Estrella, he's snowballing out of control. Remember, Goblin had the better economy, but Estrella now suddenly has the larger army. And now he's pushing in towards the 3rd base. Massive engage. We do have a shield battery, we do have an overcharge, but the numbers are snowballing out of control in favor of Estrella with the mass blink Stalker. Blinks are looking good. The force fields aren't there anymore, but we don't need them. Not anymore. The overcharge is not going to be enough. We take down one of the Immortals. We take down both Immortals, but GG gets called. Estrella overwhelms, and Estrella will take the series 2-0. Oh, GG. GG, well played. The laptop man does it again. Ah. Very solid performance there from Estrella. Does take the 2-0 here. I was getting concerned. Not gonna lie, I was getting a little bit concerned for him. It looked like Goblin was taking control of the map. He was denying the 4th base. He was getting ahead when it comes to the quality of his army. I was really concerned that that Estrella would fall behind. But just really good engagement, specifically really good force fields. The force fields were the MVPs there for Estrella, just zoning away all those stalkers time and time again, fighting half the army at once, despite the fact that initially Goblin was ahead in army supply. He did have the higher army supply, did have the larger army, but couldn't make use of it. GG, well played. With that, we're not done. We have that much more PvPs ahead of us. Up next, Shutdown versus Nightmare. Let's go. Meanwhile, we're going to be going on a short break. I'm going to be setting up the predictions. When we return, we will have our next PvP. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We just wrapped up with Estrella versus Goblin, and now we have returned with our second best of 2 hero. We're just diving right on in, and spawning in the top right hand corner for the Platinum Heroes, it is Shutdown. And in the bottom left, we have for Maturino Esports, it is Nightmare. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold. Good luck, baby. Good luck. Predictions open. There we go. Do you see in the chat, some people asking about the format? Just to quickly reiterate as well, this is a best of 7 between the two teams, but each of these individual matches are best of 2. So we had a best of 2 between Estrella and Goblin, and we're going to have a best of 2 here between Shutdown and Nightmare as well. Best of 2 means that it can go 2-0 either direction, or it could also be a tied 1-1 score. It's a very unique format to World Team League, not really done elsewhere. Best of 2s are very uncommon. I remember there was like one Home Story Cup where they had a bunch of best of 2s, and a couple of tournaments have experimented with best of 2s before, but again, it's not really a common format in most tournaments. But I do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. It's a very refreshing thing here for WTL. I don't think I would push for it in like all tournaments, but I'm more than happy with it here in this Team League format. More than happy. For now though, we are just diving into our final PvP here of potentially final PvP. As a reminder as well, because it's a best of 7, first to 4 do take the win here. If we do get a bunch of like tied series though, we could have an ace match, which would be a best of 1, and in that ace match we could also have another PvP as well. It's possible. Oh, the PvPs. Until then, we're getting into this. Of course, we're loading into Radisson Station. I should also emphasize the craziness of the map itself. Now, game 1, the map is predetermined. No vetoes. No vetoes here in WTL. That's another beautiful thing about this format. As a result, the admins, the organizers, they force Radisson Station, the most vetoed map in the map pool. The reason for this is because of how defendable it is as well. We are fully walled off. Nightmare, he goes for a full wall off here at the natural base. He's going to be going for a Sentry Stalker opener. Usually on Radisson Station, it is a race to greed. It's a race to be as greedy as possible because you have your natural and you also have a pocket base as well. A very unique feature of this map. Pocket bases are essentially a free third base that is walled off from the rest of the map, so it is just free to take and very safe to expand to. Because of that, we have seen a lot of players in a lot of matchups just cut as many corners as they can and be as greedy as possible here on Radisson Station as well. And we'll see where this goes, because we have typically different dynamics. Usually when it comes to players here on Radisson Station, it's either our players rush to greed, or one or even both players try to all in, and they try to catch their opponent being too greedy as well. Because of the map itself, because the likelihood of their opponent cutting too many corners is quite high, sometimes you have players blindly take a risk, take a chance, and just go for an all-in, hoping to catch their opponent with their pants down. And it works. It does work. Meanwhile, we have our tech of choice. We do have Nightmare going for a Gate Cyber expand into a Twilight Council opener. Likewise, Shidown doing the same. His Twilight Council is a little bit more delayed, but on the way nonetheless. It is going to be on the way. Both players just getting themselves set up here on 2 bases. You can see that Nightmare and Shidown, they've already started working on those minerals. There are a handful of mineral patches that are blocking the expansion from being taken. So that does delay the expansion a little bit here, but that is why both Shidown and Nightmare are mining those mineral patches as we speak to gain access to that base. Teamlings have it. They do. They do. I did mention before that Homestory Cup used to have it. I think there was one season. Was there one season of DreamHack a couple of years ago that had it? Potentially. I remember when we casted a Homestory Cup with best of 2s, and there were so many games. There was so, because it's round robin. It was round robin best of 2 with like 8 players in each group. It was just so many games to cast. It was crazy. It was and there was a lot of math involved in the round robin matches. Meanwhile, at Eps, they do shade into the mineral line. They don't get much done, though. It looks like maybe 1 probe went down. Do get a full scout. Meanwhile, both Shidown and Nightmare working towards their robos, working towards their forges as well for +1. And once again, Nightmare just coming in for a scout, getting eyes on the would-be third. And both players are just keeping eyes on each other. They're just getting a read on what their opposing player is up to. But no one is being hyper greedy here. I'm a little bit disappointed. We have seen a lot of players rush into Sky Toss or rush into Double Robo Disruptor, something crazy like that. Here, it feels like both players are respecting each other quite a lot. They're being greedy, don't get me wrong, and they're being, very passive, but they're not going for any kind of crazy alternate tech route or anything like that. Still just Blink Stalkers. Just straight up Blink Stalkers here from both Shidown and Nightmare. Nothing too fancy. Just continuing to scout each other. That's the other thing here, I guess, about this setup, is that if a player were to take up in a weird direction, the opposing player would immediately know. They've been so on point with scouting each other with those hallucinations. And there it is. Nightmare is going to be the first to deviate. Ooh, and he does shut down that. He does shut down that hallucination. We have the Bay on the way. And a second robo. This is what I wanted. Double Disruptor production on the way for Nightmare. And so far, Shidown hasn't seen it. He doesn't know. He tried to scout just previously. I don't know if you saw, but Nightmare did deny it, did blink and shut down the hallucination just in time. So, Shidown is in the dark. Is in the dark. As he's taking a 4th. So Shidown is going to have the slightly better economy. Meanwhile, Nightmare will have the slightly better army. I say slightly, Disruptors could be a much better army. It can, of course, swing and spike in favor of Nightmare very heavily, depending on how good these Novas are going to be. And there we go. Disruptors are on the way. Again, Shidan is still unaware of this. Still working towards his own immortals and +2. Nightmare does have the Shidan does have the slight upgrade advantage, but we're not too far behind here. Nightmare should be starting on +2 momentarily. As we are moving out. They're eventually taking that 4th. There we go. We have 2 disruptors, soon to be 4. Again, double robot production can snowball out of control very quickly with just a mass amount of disruptors. Now, if Shidan was aware of this, he most likely would either be taking into disruptors himself, as once again we get Eyes on the Hallucination. Up, show us! And it looks like, yeah, the hallucination does get denied once again. But usually we would either take up into disruptors ourselves, we could go into Phoenixes, like double Stargate Phoenix production to pick up and shut down the disruptors in a different way. Here we go, Shidan is pushing. Not fully aware of what he's pushing into. So here we go, the disruptors, they have been revealed. And we're looking to chase down the Immortal. The Immortal gets picked off immediately, the Novas go off as well. They don't connect, but they do zone back the army. That was 2 Novas, we still have 2 more in the chamber. And they're going to be going off. Bleak is on cooldown. When the Novas, they connect, they take down another Immortal. And Nightmare, he's just snowballing out of control. He just shuts his army down again. Shidan didn't know that he was walking into disruptors until the fight occurred, until the fight did happen. Nightmare did a great job at hiding them. And now, the disruptors, they're resetting. And he has 4 shots available once again. We can see Nightmare rotating around. Oh, he's actually going towards the pocket base. Bold move. I mean, he does have Blink Stalkers, but yeah, he can go in. Uh-oh. Okay, he does pull back. Just making sure there's no gold. Taking control of the Zelnaga. We can see Shidan doing something very similar. Rotating over towards the south. The armies, I believe they have missed each other. And we'll see who catches who. Nightmare still has the upgrade advantage. We can see he wants to try to break through the rocks. He wants to try to go into the natural. Bold move here from Shidan. He could force a recall at the same time. Nightmare pushing into the 3rd. Sorry, pushing into the 4th. And we're going for a base trade. There we go. Trading a base for a base. Nightmare, he's going to get the 4th. At the same time, Shidan, he gets the 3rd. And who recalls first? That's the real question. Who flinches? Who recalls, if anyone? As we're getting on top of the natural, getting on top of the production, the robos. No more disruptors. No more disruptors going to be available here for Nightmare. Things, they're getting rowdy as we bust into the main. There's the recall. But is it going to be enough? We don't have a shield battery. No shield batteries to support. Stalker versus Stalker. And Nightmare, the numbers are working against him. He just doesn't have enough. He needs another warp in. Speaking of Shidan, he goes for a big warp in into the main base of Nightmare. And Shidan, he has too much. He breaks the army. This recall was not it. Was unable to recall enough of his army. He is racing back home. The bay goes down. And Shidan, he still has a recall. Remember that. He can still get the hell out of here. As he takes control of the main base, 44 workers go down. Nightmare is going to be trying to catch this army, but again, we just recall. Try to evacuate as much as we can. Shidan is going to be bleeding out a lot of units. He wants to disrupt it. Oh! He gets 1! That's big. Gets 1 disruptor. Doesn't sound like a lot, but every disruptor has so much value here at the moment. To lose 1 is huge. Nightmare down to 3. Remember, he lost his robos and he lost his robotics bay as well. I think he kept his robos alive, but he lost his bay. And as the dust does settle, Shidan, he's on 69 drones. Nice. 69 probes even. He's on a 3-base economy. Nightmare is on 2. Nightmare's on 2 bases. The armies are pushing out. Now, Nightmare does have a supply lead. Bear that in mind. Nightmare, he has a larger army. He can still end the game with this push. It all comes down to this final engagement. Show us the armies. As here we go, the armies are looking to engage. Shidan trying to chase down the army. The disruptors, they're exposed. 1, we're gonna get 1, we're gonna get 2, we could get all 3. Big Nova does connect. Oh my god. All 3 disruptors went down, but we did connect with a massive Nova. Shidan, he's going for it. I love it. He's going for a Dark Shrine. Going for a Dark Shrine, going for DTs. Nightmare still has a supply lead. An army supply lead specifically. But we gotta go. We have to send it, Papi. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for Nightmare. As Shidown, with the better economy, will soon have a better army as well. Here we go. It looks like Nightmare may be thinking about going towards the pocket base. Gonna be, yeah, knocking down those rocks. Observer. It's been a couple of times where I don't point it out too often, but specifically this game, there's been a couple of times where it looks like our observer's been a little bit distracted. But here we go. We're diving into the pocket base, getting into that third. Yeah, it looks like the next is going to be going down, but we have Immortals, and that supply difference is no longer there. Shidown, he's now up in army supply. Remember, the longer the game went on, the worse it was for Nightmare, and it's snowballing out of control in favor of Shidown. The base trade went in his favor. That recall that Nightmare went for was not it. It just wasn't worth it. It hurt him more than it helped him. And we are looking to make a series out of this. You know, Maturino, they had a really strong start, getting a 2-0 lead. Here come the DTs. Oh my god, we barely have an economy to begin with. And the Dark Templar, they're going ham. We're recalling that observer. Meanwhile, the army takes down the second base, the second mining base. The would-be fifth. And Nightmare, he's down to one base left, one mining base here. And he's still just trying to keep up with the DTs, with those Dark Templar. Ah, the probes. There are barely any of them left, and so many of them are going down here. Nightmare, he's supply blocked. He can't even afford to make, or he just can't make any units, period, at the moment. Again, Nightmare had such a strong start. Remember the first fight with his first 4 disruptors? He looked amazing there. And then the base trade. Then the base trade occurred, and that was the way that Shidown was able to just wreak havoc, cause chaos, and thrive in that chaos as well. One misstep is all it takes. And Shidown is maxed. He's just maxing out here, getting up to 200 supply, just securing himself before committing. Shidown, he doesn't want to throw this away. We have Blink on the way for those DTs, the Prism to reinforce. Once the Prism arrives, then we're going to be pushing, essentially. With the War Prism, we can then reinforce, we can juggle the Immortals. Shidown wants to make sure that he dots every I, crosses every T. I almost said the inverse. Make sure he dots his T's, crosses his I's. Alphabet. Let's go. As we are pushing, the Prism has arrived. Likewise, we have a Warp Prism into the pocket base here of Shidown. But we shouldn't turn back. We should commit. Hopefully, Shidown isn't tempted to recall, as he has a death bull of an army and he can break this position even with an overcharge. Back at home, a lot of probes are going down. That's 16 dead workers. That's an entire mineral line. Another more prism. As the Prism of Nightmare does get picked off. And hey, Shidown, he may have lost 16 workers, but he has taken the gold. He is taking that gold base. You can see Nightmare just trying to fortify himself once again on these 4 bases. On this 4-base setup. But it shouldn't be enough. Down, he does blink up into that pocket base once again. Never goes up. It does connect. Uh-oh. We take down the Prism. We take down a good chunk of Stalkers. Can Nightmare fight back from this? He's getting into Disruptors again. Okay, real talk. If Nightmare connects 2 juicy Novas, he can take a fight. Of course, Shidown can remax from there. He has a better economy. So it's gonna take more than winning one fight, but Nightmare suddenly has potential with these Disruptors. It's not impossible. They are the great equalizers. You can be down 30, 40 supply and still win a fight. Oh, wait, here we go. We're diving in. Never goes up. Does turn back the army. Good target firing out of Shidown. Takes out one of those disruptors. Ooh, Nightmare bleeding out a little bit too much. Down to 2 disruptors. We got 2 more on the way. Is there a world? Can Nightmare pull this off? It's not going to be easy. Here we go. Once again, the Concave heavily in favor of Shidown as he's far ahead in army supply. Never going to force back the army. On both sides here. Nightmare popping that overcharge. He's holding. He's surviving. We're not living yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there, Papi. Shidown going to rotate around again. He's going for a mass Blink Stalker position. I believe Shidown did just start up and did just finish a Robotics Bay, so he can get into his own disruptors. He does outposition Nightmare. Gets into the pockets, gonna shut down this Nexus. And now he can just blink the hell out. Oh my god. A decent Nova's actually, we clean up a good chunk of those Stalkers. Not a bad trade from Nightmare if only he hadn't lost the base. That's the downside here. Did lose his Nexus. Still down 40 supply. Okay, we have to be very careful with how and when we use these disruptors. We have 4 of them now. Overcharge is going to be popped. Blinks are being forced back. Shidown is being forced back as well. And we are still holding on to those Novas. Looks like one of them's going to be going off. Novas, they will. Oh, no, no! They connect! Looking at the Unisols have at the wrong moment, but they do connect with the Stalkers. We still have 2 Novas left. 2 Novas remaining. You can see Nightmare trying to lure the army in. Trying to get a better angle of attack. Pulling back here to the shield battery. Nova goes off. Do you have a blink? Shidown still maintaining his lead, but that was a massive blink. He's going for another. Novas! He's not looking! He's not looking. Takes another Nova to the face. Ay, ay, ay. We keep all the disruptors alive. We just need to do that a couple more times. Again, Shidown, he has the better economy. He can trade. Like, he can still recover. He can still remax. It takes more than one good fight. The Prism goes down. Nova does zone back the army. Shidown is on what, 6 bases? 6 to 4? There we go, pushing on the left-hand side. Shidown still so heavily committed here to just pure Blink Stalker instead of taking up into Sky Toss. He should still have this. Oh god. Oh my god. As he takes another Nova to the face. Big reaction out of Shidown there on cams. Didn't like that. Ay, ay, ay. And Shidown's going to be very careful here. As more Nova's going to be going off, and this time they will not connect. Nightmare getting a little bit cheeky. He's going for a ninja base. Nightmare, top left on the minimap. He's going for a hidden base here towards the top left. That's going to be huge if it gets up and running. And you can see, earlier Nightmare was down 50 supply. Now down 20. Like Nightmare, he is closing the gap, but I spoke too soon! Big blink into the bugger base. At the same time, Shidown pushing towards left-hand side. I love that he is going to be trying to flex the size of his army. He takes down another base. Nexus falls. And this is how we play this out. Again, Shidown has numbers on his side. He's pulling Nightmare apart. But again, Nightmare, he's closing the gap in army supply. Technically, he's even in army supply. He's just down in workers. Which is scary. So Shidown has to be very careful here with how he engages. Observer did go down. Which means we could go for DTs. Like, Blink is done for Shidown for his Dark Templar. Oh my god, and Nightmare, for all intents and purposes, he has, in a way, recovered. He does get away with top left. The Nexus is up, but it's not running yet. He has to recall. He needs to recall to get that mining. Shidown doesn't have eyes on it. Ooh, as he blinks into the pocket, and we were waiting, by the way. Massive Nova goes off once again. That's what, the third, the fourth Nova? And yo, we can dive on this. Nightmare, he knows. He has momentum. Dives on the army. Picking off so many Stalkers. And suddenly, things are swinging in favor of Nightmare. Look at how many Disruptors he has. What's that, 10? Oh my god, the Prism goes down. Not like this. You can see Shidown is getting ready for a counterattack. We have another force of Blink Stalkers towards the south. Nightmare is in position in his pocket base. But Nightmare, okay, he's going to be rotating over towards the left. He takes it. He does find one of those observers. Oh, Nightmare out of position. You can see that he's pulling his army back towards the left. Nova's going to be going off. Maybe do pull back. At the same time, Nightmare out of position. He gets pulled away, which means he's not here to protect this pocket. The Nexus will go down for what, like the 5th time? It's died so often. This time, though, Nightmare, he can chase. He has the size for it. He has the army for it. He's chasing Shidown back. Disruptor's pushing forward. Both armies, or both players, microing on 2 fronts. That's going to be going up. Turning back the army. Gold base goes down. Shield battery is going to try to help. Going to try to support. Nightmare has to be very careful here. A lot of these Disruptors looking vulnerable. Yeah, Shidown has momentum. He's trying to collapse on this army from all angles. He's going for the surround. Nova's got off big connections, but we get a full surround here, and it looks like Shidown, can he clean this up? He might be able to. Yeah, the Disruptors are trying to escape, but too many of them are going to be going down. A big catch here for Shidown. It looks like he may have just done it. Oh my god. This is what he needed. Big overextension from Nightmare, losing every single Disruptor. He almost came back. He almost came back in this game. But Shidown was able to just get the better engage here towards the end. And he can chase this all the way back. Big blink here from Shidown. He's got double the army supply at this point. Resetting the Disruptor count. Yeah, it's going to be going up. Oh my god. Grazing the army. Oh, was that a tell? Oh, not a tell. Not enough for Shidown. He does come across some of these probes. Is he going to check? He's thinking, yeah, there it is. GG gets called. Whew. And Shidown will take game number 1. But that was not an easy one. Oh my god. GG, well played. Shidown will take it in the end. We'll take game 1 after being in a rough position. I should emphasize this as well. Remember, winding it back like 15 minutes ago, Nightmare was ahead. Nightmare, he was able to rush into Disruptors, take some really good fights, and he initiated the base trade. In the base trade, Shidown came out on top. He was able to trade better against the army, take down more bases, cripple the economy as well of Nightmare, and Nightmare was dead. Nightmare was dead from that moment. And somehow he was able to remax, recover. It took him like 10 minutes, but he was able to just bounce back with these amazing Novas, and in the end, it barely wasn't enough. In the end, Nightmare got a little bit too excited. He got a little bit too adventurous towards the end when he got surrounded, but he was coming back. It was wild. It was something that should not have happened, and with that, Shidown does take game 1, but that's one of those wins that doesn't feel amazing. Like, it's what that 100% you could see in that game. When a couple of those Novas were connecting, it was like halfway through, there was a moment where Shidown reacted on cams, and you could see his heart fall a little bit, where you could see him be like, yo, am I throwing this? you could see that moment, and that's not a good feeling. But thankfully, Shidown, he does take it in the end. But oh boy, we had to fight for it. We had to. We had to fight so hard for it, and here we go. We're getting ready for game 2. It's going to be Nightmare's map of pick, map of choice. His map of choice, it's going to be Hardland. Let's go. Ah. Aye. Let's go. Nightmare in the closet? Yes, yes. Nightmare is Harry Potter confirmed. Does play from his closet. Oh, but here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hardlead, we have for the Platinum Heroes, it is Showdown. And spawning in the top left, we have for Match Arena Esports, it is Nightmare. Is this clean feed? Yes. Exclamation mark delay in the chat. For WTL, we typically do cast from a clean feed. Typically how WTL does operate. We only ever observe ourselves if there's like technical issues. If you've been watching this season of WTL, it's happened like once or twice where the clean feed connection to the outside world is a little bit shaky and it gets a little bit rough. If that ever happens, then we are usually invited into the games themselves. Otherwise, clean feed. Oh, here we go. Sorry, just catching up. And here we go. So far, we're getting to some standard openers. It is going to be 2-gate openers here all around from both Nightmare and Showdown. Everything is looking normal for the time being. We do see Showdown scouting the edges here of the map, looking for, or even actually looking to throw down his own pylon. Oh, never mind. He's just scouting. Does throw down his second pylon in his own main base. He's just scouring the map here, avoiding the probe of Nightmare. As Nightmare checks all those proxies. And here we go again. I feel like I have to settle down after that game. I have to calm things down a little bit. Again, Nightmare, he saw the probe moving in this direction, but Showdown did outposition Nightmare, did escape with his probe, and he is going to remain hidden here, as our players were not able to scout their opponents. Again, we are loading into Hardlead. Something that I should mention is, of course, Hardlead is a very small map, has a very short rush distance, so aggression is favored, which is why you can see both players are just so adamant about scouting. They're both all over the map right now with their probes, making sure that there is no hidden proxy. Aggression is definitely favored on a map like this. And there it is. It's going to be a one-base all-in. Nightmare, he's going for not a proxy, but that is going to be a robo-base opener alongside a third gateway. This should be for a warp prism and to send stalkers across the map. Meanwhile, Showdown. What's our tech going to be? Do we expand? I'm hoping for a robo opener, but there's no tell. That's the problem. Showdown, there's nothing really to read here to tell him that there's aggression coming. There it is. Showdown is going to be expanding. He gets caught out. One stalker will fall. We're going to be trading a stalker for a stalker. Oh, I say that. Nightmare trading a little bit better in the end. 2 for 1. And Showdown, he's opening up economically, going for that expansion. Meanwhile, little does he know that Nightmare is committed. There it is. The War Prism's on the way. The all-in is upon us. And Showdown still hasn't seen this. He still hasn't confirmed. Now he's going for a robo, which is nice and all, but this robo may be a little bit too late for Showdown. It's going to be close. Probe comes in. Probe doesn't scout. So far, Nightmare's done a great job here, just denying any kind of scouting information from his opponent. You can see here, just quickly checking. We were looking to see if Showdown had any vision. The answer is no. We do have a safety shield battery on the low ground. We should be seeing hallucinations soon. But if we hallucinate, that means we don't have force fields. If we don't have force fields, that means we may just lose our natural. There it is. We do get eyes on the army. And now Showdown knows. You can see reactive cams. He does shake his head. Oh, God. Boys are being fooled. We have a shield battery. We have an overcharge. Immortal is on the way, but it just now started. And Nightmare has arrived. It goes for the shield battery. Shuts it down. Good juggling so far. Keeping his stalkers alive. And Showdown has to give up on his natural. Now, as a reminder, Nightmare is all in. Killing the natural is not enough. He has to keep going. And we are buying time for that Immortal. The Immortal is on the way. Made out of force field. Immortal does arrive. Ooh, Showdown gets supply blocked. Oh, that's brutal. Losing the Nexus does supply block him. Gateway's going to be going down. We're down to one single gateway. One gateway, one roadbreak. That's all the production we have. We can't afford to lose another gateway here. We have to warp it as much as we can. There's no shield battery. The Adepts, they're shading into the middle line. Stalkers are being dragged back as well. Another force field does buy some time. Second Immortal's on the way. That's going to be a big power spike here for Shutdown. That second Immortal is going to be a big moment for him. As he ferries a couple of Adepts into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Yeah, the gateway's going to fall. We get in. We bust into the main base. Focus down the sentries. Every sentry goes down. We have a second Immortal. If only we had a shield battery. Oh. Yeah, gateway goes down. We're forcing the army out of the main base at least. But the Adepts are still wreaking havoc. Getting 6 probe kills. From here, if Nightmare really wanted to, he could expand. But he's making an Immortal. He's going for a Stargate. He's doubling down here on his all-in. And again, Shutdown doesn't have any gateways up and running yet. He's throwing down 2 gateways as we speak. He's up to 3 Immortals. That's a pretty hefty Immortal count, actually. You have to respect it. Stalkers, they get into the mineral line. Pick up another couple of workers. And again, there's no blink that Nightmare has to worry about. His prism is safe. We snipe an observer. We can maybe snipe a pylon as well. Just picking Shutdown apart. You see Shutdown trying to expand. Again, the one advantage that Shutdown has is his Immortal counts. Oh, but I'm loving the Phoenixes. I'm loving the Phoenix production here from Nightmare. It's a good way to crowd control and to CC these Immortals. A really good way to deal with them. We have 1 Phoenix for now. We have a second Phoenix on the way. We thread this shade. And again, Shutdown doesn't know if Nightmare is expanding or not. The Prism! Prism takes a lot of hits. The War Prism does go down. A big misstep there from Nightmare. Big overextension. But who's really overextending here? So here we go. We dive on the army. We trigger those shields. We pick up 2 of those Immortals. And we dive on in, focusing down as many Immortals as we can. We get 1. We get 2. And we're getting 3. 1 Immortal remaining here for Shutdown. Is it going to be enough though? He might be able to push us back. He does. We trade 1 for 1. But Nightmare, he's losing too much. Oh, you can see Nightmare shaking his head a little bit there. Again, getting a little bit too overeager. This is still close. I say close. Mate, Shutdown, he has an expansion. Nightmare expands. This Stargate play was not worth it. Instead of throwing down the Stargate, Nightmare had a choice. Nightmare had a choice to make. He could either expand or double down and go for Phoenix production. He went for the Phoenixes and it was not worth it in the end. And now you can see the economy shifting in favor of Shutdown. Up on 2 bases, up in Immortal production. Shutdown has survived. Nightmare, he had to either kill his opponents or get ahead economically, and he did neither. Nightmare, he was able to achieve neither in the end, and with that, Shutdown, he's in a good position. Looking good back. We're now working towards the Twilight Council, towards Blink. Shutdown's still on 1 base economy. And we could see a tied up series. We could go the distance, Papi. It's possible. Shutdown popping off tonight. I mean, hey, he was DreamHack Atlanta's BYOC champion, if I'm not mistaken. Our most recent DreamHack Atlanta champion coming in strong here against Nightmare. Blink is on the way. We're recovering in the economy. Pieces try to threaten, but alas, we have Stalkers in position. And how do we come back? Okay. So, for Nightmare, unlike the previous game, there's no disruptors available. He has to rely on out-positioning his opponents, on maybe getting into a mineral line with his Oracle. So far, though, Shidan is keeping up. Nightmare does have eyes on the third. He's moving out with his entire army. Here we go. Nightmare cutting workers early on. Second all in. No gases at his natural. It's all or nothing here for Nightmare. He does have a comparable army size. He's going for the lifts on that Immortal. He picks it up. Gets the Immortal. No shot. It's no shot. It lives. Oh, it's on 1 HP. Also, where's the shield battery? Where's the overcharge? The Immortal does live, though. We force a cancel on the third base, and we're going to be picking up the Immortal. Keep it alive. Pull it back. Throw down a goddamn shield battery. No, the Immortal. It's going to go down. It gets lifted. As we do have the armies engaged here, the Immortal somehow still alive in the air. But last it finally will go down. Nightmare getting forced back, though. The power of the Immortal in favor of Nightmare. Oh, that was a wild blink of Shidan. I don't think that was intentional. You can see Shidan laughing on cam there for a moment. Oh god, that blink took down, I guess, the Phoenixes, but not worth it there in the end. Forced to recall, and it looks like Nightmare, the secondary all-in. The second all-in is maybe becoming a bit too much. Again, no shield battery, no overcharge. No stack defense here at the natural base. A little bit too greedy here from Shidan. Boys are being pulled. We're diving on the Prism. More Prism gets picked up. We're getting the Immortal. But Shidan, he's going down to 8 probes. He's going down to barely an economy. Oh, those adepts, they were going ham the entire time. And they're still going ham. They still want more economic damage here as... Nightmare, it looks like he has done it here. It's the roller coaster ride of emotions from one player into the other. At first, Nightmare was looking good, then Shidan, then Nightmare again. Shidan, he's going for a counter all-in. It's all or nothing for him. No more economy, no more probes. Phoenix does threaten the lift. GG is going to get called, and with that, Nightmare will take the game. We'll tie it up 1-1. But that was so close as well. Shidan, he had his moment. You can see, feeling a little bit upset about that game, and I don't blame him. Like, Shidan was in the driver's seat after defending the initial all-in. Shidan was so far ahead, but was maybe a little bit too greedy. Maybe just not thinking of, again, preparing for that counterattack. And with that, well played here by Nightmare. And now we're settling into the final best of 2. It's going to come down to Firefly versus Future. Now, Firefly is the ace player of the Platinum Heroes. He's a very strong player. If they were to rely on anyone to 2-0, it's going to be Firefly. Firefly needs to 2-0 to force out... He needs to 2-0 to force the ace match. Future needs 1 game. 1 win here will win the series. It's first to 4, and match arena or match point. Going to be going in a short break. When we return, the final best of 2. See you soon. And we are back here with the final best of 2 of this Team League match, and it's all on the line. This could still go either way. As you mentioned before, Firefly needs a 2-0 win here to force the ace match. Future needs one. Uno mas. One win is all he needs to win it all for Matcherino Esports. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets in the chat for how you think this series will unfold, as in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have, for the Platinum Heroes, Firefly. And in the top right, we have his opponent, we have for Matcherino Esports, it is Future. Predictions open. As a reminder, this is going to be a best of 2. Could go either way, but again, the pressure is on Firefly, and you know, he is one of the latest pickups of the Platinum Heroes. He was the ace player of the Starving Camels last season, in the summer season of WTL, and he has quickly cemented himself as the ace player of the Platinum Heroes here in the winter season. And again, if they had to rely on anyone for a 2-0, it would be Firefly. Can he pull it off though? Can he bring it home? So we're getting into our TVP. We're taking a break from the PvPs for now. Platinum Heroes, they killed the camel. I mean, it is a little bit sad. Like the Starving Camels, they were such a great team last season. They did so well for themselves. Here on the CranKy Ducklings, we quickly became a fan of the Starving Camels. Like they were the star team, the standout performance of WTL Summer of this year. But since then, players have moved on to greener pastures. You know, we had Firefly joining the Platinum Heroes. Recently, Cyan got picked up by Mystery Gaming. So I mean, it's a little bit bittersweet, right? It's a little bit bittersweet because, you know, they've kind of left the flock and left their original home. But I do know that the Starving Camels, they're mainly like a group of friends, or as we do get the CC on low ground. They're mainly a group of friends that don't really have much of a salary they can pay their players. In an interview, they talked about how they were really happy. They were really happy for Firefly to get onto a team and actually get more opportunities. And I'm sure they feel the same about Cyan. I'm sure the Starving Camels feel the same about Cyan. I know that they're all still good friends. I know that they're all still, you know, still keep in touch and still practice together as well. So they are more than supportive for their ex-Camels. As we are getting into this, and for the time being, it's going to be an economic opener from Future. He's going for a racked expand. A bit of a delayed racks where he was able to hide his SCV, but he does get it on location, and the Firefly is just making sure that everything's on the up and up, just making sure that nothing was proxied. We have our tech of choice. It is going to be a Twilight Council from our Protoss play. Twilight Council opener here from Firefly. Now, talking about our players for a moment, Future is typically a very aggressive player. He's very unique as well. He comes up with his own builds. And when I say aggressive, sometimes one base all-ins, but usually Future thrives on 2-base play in TVP. So he can be quite difficult to keep up with, quite difficult to read. Hallucination comes in, confirms the timing of the CC. And we do confirm the factory on the high ground as well. Looks like we're going for a standard opener. Future going for a racked expand into a Widowmine drop. So Widowmines to begin with. Meanwhile, Firefly has 2 more gates on the way. I believe it's going to be a 3-gate blink opener out of Firefly, so a very safe play from our Protoss. Going to be walling off just in time. Oh my god. No entry allowed here as the Hellions try to avoid that wall. They try to slip by the Adepts, but no. Firefly is in position. The wall is a wall. And I love that he only shades with one Adept. He keeps the other to wall off on hold position. So really nice control there out of Firefly. He does hold on to his bases, does hold on to his economy for the time being. Behind this, a very committed Widowmine drop. It's not 1, it's not 2, it's 4 Widowmines coming out for Future. Zooming across the map. We are going to be zooming. At the same time, Adepts, they get into the mineral line as well. They try to focus down. They get the Mule. The Mule will fall. Get a good pickup. Here come the mines. 3 of them. 3 Widow Mines into the natural waste. Boys are being pulled. We do react in time. We do minimize our losses. Ooh, I say that, but we got 4 probe kills for 3 mine shots. Not too bad. It's, I mean, it was 3 Widowmites though. Like, the Hellions get in! Oh my god! Firefly for one moment was out of position. The Hellions, they get into the mineral line, and they shouldn't get too much more, but they get an extra probe kill in the main. 5 in total. We also get a full scout. That's what's important. Usually when it comes to these dives, on the one hand, it's kind of about getting damage, true. What's more important, confirming the gateways. With that, Future is now fully aware of the 3 gates, not 4, so he knows that his opponent is going to be expanding. He knows that Firefly is more concerned with taking a 3rd, less so with counterattack. Which means Future is safe back at home. He's just building up his bio army, working on his gases. We have a Raven moving out across the map. He knows he doesn't need it back at home. And Future can focus on harassing and working on that next step. Stim +1. We should be going for a 3rd. We'll keep an eye on the 3rd CC timing of Future to see if he does go for a 2-base all-in or if he goes for a 3rd. We'll see what direction he goes in. Oh, as we may have a bit of latency here. There we go. Going to be going for a bit of a pause. And making sure that we're able to clear things up. Now, what's good about this, thankfully, if we are experiencing a little bit of latency, is that we're able to pause before any kind of big fight happens. There's nothing major going on right now. We see Future macroing up, getting into another Rax. I believe he's going up to 5 Raxes back at home. Meanwhile, Firefly is establishing his 3rd base. So everything is chilling. Everything is settling down. The next kind of big moment here, one, Future is still harassing. He still has 2 Widow Mines in between the Natural and the 3rd, and he has the Raven coming in towards the main. So he still has harassment opportunities. On top of that, we still don't know if Firefly wants to go into Colossus or into Charge Lots. Like, how he wants to supplement his army. He could go Robo Colossus, he could go Temple Archives into Storm, into Charge Lots. The composition of Firefly is still a little bit in flux, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see kind of what direction we do go in. And there we go. We have 5 gates on the way. Oh my... We have our answer. Firefly, we've got 5 gateways in production. We have Charge on the way and a Warp Prism. We are doubling down on a Swarm Toss style. Who needs Colossi? Who needs Storm when you have Stalkers and Zealots? Meanwhile, Future likewise going to be moving out with his first couple of tanks. Now this push is going to be lining up with Stim. Stim is on the way and should finish by the time he gets across the map. Getting a 3rd CC on location. Bold move here from Future. Very greedy. Raven coming into the main base, getting a couple of probe kills. At the same time, Firefly is going to be harassing with that Warp Prism. He does get eyes on the building 3rd CC. He's going to be able to delay it, maybe even deny it. Meanwhile, the main push has been spotted. Firefly getting in position. Does he have enough to defend? Good force field. Oh my god! Catches those tanks on the ramp even. Very nicely done. We clean up so many Marines as well. The Prism is going to be going down, but we get 1 tank. We get the 2nd tank as well. Ooh, as we get a bit of a pause here, and no, that is not the time to lag. Oh god. Not like this. I mean, that was a big moment. That was a really solid moment for Firefly. He was able to deny the 3rd base. He was able to shut down the tank, shut down the army. But it looks like there is a little bit of instability here, and we do get back in. Here we go. We do have Future pushing up that ramp. Mine shots are avoided. Good blinks here from Firefly. Does blink away. Does take down that medevac as well. And Firefly will force back the army. At the same time, it wasn't just a denial on the 3rd. He forced a cancel. He forced a cancel on the 3rd base of Future. So really good cleanup. And he is chasing Future back home. Oh my god. Cleaning up so much of this army. Marines, medevacs go down. Again, Firefly completely shut down the push. Future, his 3rd base is delayed. He's trying to catch back up into this. Now, in the midst of all this, Firefly did lose his Warp Prism. Remember, his Warp Prism across the map was killed in the main by Marines, if you recall that earlier. So it is going to be rebuilt, remade. This means that Firefly couldn't quite reinforce, but now that he's rebuilt it, he's pushing out again. As Firefly pushes, 4th Nexus is on the way. Firefly, economically, he's not skipping a beat. Gets a Zelda in position. Future's pushing through the middle, by the way. Both armies are going to be missing each other, and I'm really concerned here for Firefly. Uh-oh. Future pushing right down the middle. Firefly out of position across the map instead. And I don't know if we can even deal with this army, even if Firefly was back at home. And we bust into that natural base. +1 is going to be denied. We do get Zealots into the main though. SCVs are going down. But this force here from Future is terrifying. Would you recall? We recall back home. We have the overcharge as well. Can Firefly survive? He barely has an army to speak of. Boys are being pulled as well. But he does force back the army. But again, Future, he's rallying everything across the map. Firefly, he needs time to warp in. He needs time to rebuild. He's got 700 minerals in the bank. But Future, he's just applying so much pressure here. Firefly's in a lot of trouble. Here we go, the Marine Marauder pushing on forward. Hitting a timing with 1-1, with Stim. With combat shields. Yeah, the shield battery was dealt with. No backup shield battery here, no overcharge. We break the third base. And it looks like Future is going to be able to clean this up. Is going to be able to do it all here for his team, for Maturino. Firefly did well initially, but again, maybe was trading a little bit too wastefully. Lost a little bit too much. Future gained too much momentum here. GG gets pulled, and Future will take game number 1 and the series for Maturino. GG. GG, well played. I hope the latency wasn't a factor here. I don't want to make excuses, of course, but I hope the pauses and latency wasn't too impactful when it came to the game and didn't negatively impact the players either. I do hope that, but regardless, GG, well played. Future, of course, does come out on top here, does take game 1. We will still play out game 2. Game 2 will still be played out, but Maturino will win this. They have confirmed their win here, and is it enough to get them into the playoffs? I don't think so. Unfortunately, despite the efforts from Maturino, even with this win, I believe they still don't have a good enough score to actually make it all the way into the playoffs. It's close, don't get me wrong, but regardless, they are looking to claim the win here. Firefly can still redeem himself though. He can still fight back, not just for himself, but for his own ELO ratings and his own personal score and his team standing as well. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I mentioned before, Masters Coliseum. The qualifiers are next week, and invites are going to be coming out as well, based on players' performances in Kung Fu Cup and WTL proper. So, again, those invites are reserved for the highest rated players here, and those invites will be fanned out soon, I'm sure. Will be sent out soon. As it looks like we have our map of choice, it is going to be Algyone for the final game. The final game of the night. Let's go. Also, yes, we have confirmation that actually tomorrow we will determine the final the final team to make it into the playoffs. All the other kind of slots are cemented. They are in stone. And here we go in the top right-hand corner. We have for the Platinum Heroes, it is Firefly. And in, oh my god, in the bottom left, we have his opponent. We have Maturino Esports. It is Future. Setting an SCV out very quickly across the map. This is looking like an eBay block, I imagine, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of direction Future wants to take this in. As he does try to skirt around the right-hand side, the edge of the map. Ooh, and we are not going for an eBay block. We're going for a proxy Rax. Okay. Future, you have my attention. Yes, there, Future. But I did mention earlier that he is typically a very aggressive player, as we even saw in the last game. Very aggressive, very in your face. Now, it's only going to be one Rax, and it looks like there is not a spot available there for something like an add-on, like a tech lab for a proxy Marauder. Gases are being taken. It looks like this should just be a singular proxy Rax into a factory back at home, but we'll see if Future has something else in store for us. But I'm feeling just a proxy Reaper. go. We do see the probe does confirm that the Rax is missing, and Firefly is looking. He's looking for where that Rax could be, bearing in mind that it is not uncommon for the Rax to be thrown down deeper into the main, or at the third base, or at the fourth base, or at the natural. Firefly is on the hunt. He's looking for it. Meanwhile, we can see that it is going to be just a proxy Reaper. And this should also lead into a bunker as well. With this SCV, you can throw down a bunker on the low ground. There it is, factory is on the way. So with this, Firefly now knows it's not a proxy 2 Rax. There it is, eBay has been thrown down, but the Zealot is here to deny it. Shut this down. We do force again. So now the upside here is that the natural base has been delayed for Firefly. That is true. Nexus is later than it otherwise should have been. But outside of that, we're going to be able to force back this Reaper. Again, the Nexus is also delayed because of the Force Zealot. So a little bit of wasted resources there for Firefly. Not a bad start for Future. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good start here. As he is going to be going for that CC as a follow-up. Again, it was a double gas opener. And this Probe Scout is going to get eyes and confirm the CC. So Firefly knows it's not going to be a one-base all-in. We can see that it's going to be a 1-1-1 follow-up. Medivac should be leading into a Widowmine drop with Medivacs. Starport should be leading into Medivacs, I should say. But we'll see. Meanwhile, back at home, Firefly's tech of choice is going to be a Twilight Council. Should be for Blink Stalkers. How many gateways is the big question? Is it going to be 2-gate Blink, 3-gate, or even 4-gate Blink Stalkers? For now, 2 gateways. Very standard, very economic. We'll see if we commit a little bit harder. Good positioning with the Zealot. Oh my. Firefly. Oh, meanwhile, we're getting ready for the KDA charge. Again, Future can use his grenades to knock up that Stalker and to rush in with his Hellion. That's exactly what I got. Does not get out of position. But we'll back up. So far, so good for Firefly. Behind this, no additional gateway explosion. Reapers are going to dip in, though the Zealot not quite where it needed to be. But you get one probe kill. One probe for one Reaper. Not the best trade, but the Hellion does slip in. And do we get a scout? Oh, we do. Barely slips into the main base. We get eyes on the tech, on the production, confirming how few gateways there are. No additional gateways, no Dark Shrine. Future's going to be feeling pretty good about this position. As we can see, it was 2-gate Blink into a 3rd. So Firefly working on that faster 3rd base. Very economic here from Firefly. Future is aware of this, is going to confirm this with his Widowmine drop, as he does get eyes on the timing of the 3rd Nexus. And behind this, Future throws down 2 more Raxes. He's setting up for a big push here on 2 bases. Raven production well underway. This table being researched. We go for the mine drop here into the natural. Oh my, oh god! Jeez. We unbar, we retarget, and the Widowmine will go down. Doesn't get a shot off, but did deny a lot of mining time, and it did give me a heart attack. I just, I was, ay. Calm down, Future, calm down. Blink on the way, of course, as well as the Forge. Remember, it's only 2 gateways up and running for Firefly, so we can't really harass, so we can't really be too active. Again, this opener from Firefly is a little more economic, less so aggressive. So he's kind of stuck at home. Meanwhile, Future, he's free to do whatever he wants. I believe he's on a 3-1-1 setup. 3 Raxes, 1 factory, 1 starport. From here, he can either choose to throw down 2 more Raxes or throw down a 3rd CC. We are an Alki on it, and typically it is considered difficult to break a 3-basing player, so I imagine Future's going to work on a 3rd, but yet to be determined. We shall see. Once again, the mid-game of Firefly looking the same as game 1. He's going for a big gateway explosion. 6 gates on the way. My apologies. 8 gates in total with a +1 armor. We have a charge on the way as well. So once again, a swarm toss composition. Now, this playstyle from Firefly it can be difficult to pull off. It is ideal when it comes to engaging out of the open. When it comes to trying to break a defending player, a little bit less so. It also takes a lot of economy and a lot of momentum to really get going, just because your army is so fragile. What I mean by that is that there's no backbone to the army, right? Like there's no storm, there's no disruptors, there's no colossus. Because of that, like your army, you have to be very careful with how and when you engage. Speaking of, we do come across that prism. A lot of damage is dealt. And here we go, the upgrades are kicking in. Stim, combat shields, Future is going to be pushing. Now, like we saw previously, I imagine Future is going to throw down the third CC behind this push as he attacks. We should be seeing that expansion momentarily. Oh, as we do get eyes on the Observer, we'll shut it down. But Firefly does spot the move out. Is getting in position. I'm loving these Zealots peeled off towards the left-hand side for us around. Here we go, we are going to be pushing. As we're pointing out, still no third CC. We should have been seeing one by now, is what I will say. As Future, he does have control of the center of the map. Immortal production has commenced, so Firefly is going to have a little bit more tech to his army, which I do appreciate. He wants to try to get us around if possible here. He's looking to collapse on this position from both angles. Widowmines are going to be borrowing, but what about the friendly fire? Oh my god! Big mine shots go up here. A lot of friendly fire as well. We get a big warp in, and Firefly completely swallows up this army. Again, he had the most perfect engage. Came in for a full surround, 360. And again, the Widowmines did not help Future there. Not at all. Here we go. We're breaking on through, this time with Immortals. Reinforcements are on the way. Remember, Future, he doesn't have a third base behind this. He just now starts it. Just now begins. Meanwhile, we do have the Prism into the main base, going for a Zealot run by or Zealot drop into that mineral line. Forcing back a lot of this army. The Prism is going to be going down. Was this worth it for Firefly? He will lose his reinforcements. No more Prism. Nice force field, though. He's going for the mineral line, going for the SCV, so we have another force field. We recall back home. I love that only the Immortals are recalled. That's such a little, like, minute detail, but it's so good. Again, the Stalkers can blink, the Immortals cannot. So they will just get the hell out of there. We get 11 SCV kills. Future's economy not looking too good. And Firefly, he's racing back home with his main army, but he's also getting ready for another counterattack with his Zealots. Towards the top left, big Zealot run by being set up. Prison's being rebuilt. Firefly is getting a fourth base. This time Firefly has momentum. This time the pressure is on Future, but the Zealots, they come in. As Future's pushing out, we catch some reinforcements. We catch some Marines, some Marauders. Mine shots going to be zoning away the army. But we're still getting more SCVs, and we force everything back home. Future, he races back home to deal with this, and he will, don't get me wrong. He will clean up these Zealots. But Firefly, he's not done. He was merely licking his wounds, recovering, and now he wants to engage once again. That's a lot of Widowmines once again behind this. This time, much better Widowmine shots here on only the Zealots, not on the rest of the army. But there's still just too much to handle. GG gets called, and Firefly will take game number 2. We'll tie it up 1-1. GG. GG, well played, and a solid game there from Firefly, but again, unfortunately, not enough for his team. Not enough to win this in the end, as Maturino will come out on top. Congratulations, and a big shout out to Estrella, Nightmare, and Future. They do win it here from Maturino 4-2 against the Platinum Heroes, but at the same time, a big shout out to the Platinum Heroes for making Maturino work for it, as well as Firefly and Showdown for taking their own respective games, and for, almost taking the series as well. Remember, Showdown versus Nightmare was so close, and that could have been a 2-0 in favor of Showdown as well. Like, we could have seen a very different outcome here. a very different game. So yeah, GG. GG. Congratulations to our players here, to our teams, and I hope everyone had a great time. Hope everyone enjoyed themselves in the chat. It was a great day of StarCraft, and we have 1 day left. This was day 2 of round 11 of WTL. Tomorrow is day 3. Tomorrow is the final day of World Team League and of the World Team League round robin stage. And it's going to be pretty important, actually. Right now, we have our top teams confirmed for who makes it into the playoffs, except for one. There's still enough room for one more team. It's either going to be Mystery Gaming or Starlight Twinkle. One or the other. I mean, it's going to come down to tomorrow. So tomorrow's matches are going to be the Starving Camels versus Mystery Gaming and Starlight Twinkle versus Shopify Rebellion. Depending on who wins and who loses, that will impact and influence who makes it out of the round robin stage and who makes it into the playoffs. It's going to come down to the wire. Going to come down to those two teams, Mystery Gaming and Starlight Twinkle, and that is going to be tomorrow. That is going to be tomorrow. Likewise, I think we have a lot going on tomorrow, if not mistaken. It's a big day of StarCraft, and I'm going to have to get some rest early on here. So if you're curious, if you're interested, if you want to support us here on the CranKy Ducklings, our next broadcast is in 12 hours. In 12 hours time, we're going to be live with KSL, week number 39. Then after that, we have GPO number 99, just merely a couple of hours after KSL. And then after that, we have the final day of World Team League. So back to back to back, 3 broadcasts. 3 broadcasts tomorrow on Saturday. It's going to be a big day of StarCraft. It's going to be a big day again. It all starts in 12 hours time. Now, to be fair, Saturday is going to be really intense for us here on the CranKy Ducklings. But Sunday, we have nothing planned. Sunday is Christmas Eve. So we will be taking Christmas Eve off. We will be calming things down, and you know, you can take that time to spend time with your families, with your friends, just enjoy, you know, the holidays, and just take a day off and just sleep. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be sleeping. I might stream on my channel. I'm probably gonna stream. I'm probably gonna stream on my personal channel to try to catch up on everything. But yeah. With that, hope you all had a good time. Hope you all had an amazing day of StarCraft. And again, it continues in 12 hours time with the KSL. With that, you can also follow myself, Light_VIP. You can follow me on, you know, I guess Twitter, Facebook. I do stream over on Twitch. I do stream over on my Twitch channel whenever I can, and I should be streaming on Christmas Eve. I should be able to get like my first ladder session in like 2 weeks. We've been so busy, we just haven't really had the time to get into all of that, but yeah, it's coming. It is coming. Look forward to it. Yeah, other than that, hope everyone had a great time, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the finale of WTL, for the continuation of KSL, and one of our final GPOs of the year. See you tomorrow. Hasta luego. Bye. Hasta luego.